The Thurman and Lala podcast starts
right now.
There's been an eventful week in our little circle of, friends and world and shit.
Homoerotic escapades.
Furries.
Spirit, the universe's herpes.
Smack my lips.
It would be funny. I would laugh.
These are real things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're biased, but that's okay.
I don't know that falling on that cake.
Does your mom or anyone you work with listen to this? I hope not.
Does anyone listen to this?
Yeah.
Fucking God!
Yeah.
40 minutes in, we got racist.
Camp down, raises, whack that dong.
Oh. Stand down, you bitch.
Oh, if you
This is why the show goes so well.
does it go well?
It does go well.
And it's gonna fucking start right now. Whatever.
Come on, mom.
Clitoris.
Hey, there it goes. Hey, how you doing? Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Good morning.
We're back.
Hey.
Reviewing the last
That's all
one.
I had.
The last episode, I was like, maybe I shared a little too much.
About what?
Just
I don't even remember. It feels so long
sometimes
ago.
I feel like it's successful when I cringe myself when going back.
I can't remember. I feel like that was like months ago. I'm doing so many
I
of these
know, it's
fucking
been a
things now.
while.
What was the last one?
I don't know. All kinds of. We talked about so many things.
The girl that you didn't fuck in the truck. So
Yes,
you didn't
yes.
fuck a girl in a truck. That's like,
So that's not bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
but then the karma of me doing bad things. I said I feel like I would have a retarded daughter. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, that's just a feeling you have. That's not that bad. If you actually had a retarded daughter and we like made her come on the show and say retarded things and laughed at her,
Now,
that'd be
that
terrible.
would be different. Yeah,
we would
that's
never
true.
do that. That'd be horrible.
No, yeah.
What an awful thing to do. We would never do that. But hypothetically, your fake, non-existent retarded daughter.
Well, that's true. And, I can't worry about what people are going to get offended about because people are going to be offended about
No,
anything.
they're not. People are gay. Nobody's really offended. It's all fake. It's all
and
bullshit. So people can get TV shows.
I understand. We went a while without talking about this quarantine bullshit, whatever, but I got some shit I got to fucking say.
All right.
Okay. So, there's, everyone's bored and now it's getting nicer, sort of. The weather can't make up its mind, but like it is getting nicer and people are just,
I believe
they
there
just
was
feel
a
it's lame.
massive snow situation between this episode and the last one.
Yeah.
Wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
Like a sheet of snow on the ground, not
Yeah.
like a little heavy.
It was very annoying. But the point is
was
that
crazy.
now, like, the trend necessarily of this coronavirus thing is just people are just, they're just over it. But you can't be over it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a thing that you can just be like, nah, anyway, so let's just open up all these businesses. You know what I mean? So basically, I have nothing to do, and I'm scrolling on social media, and I hate it, but I do it.
That's what
it's
they
like a
fucking
fucking obsession,
wanted.
right? It's like a fucking...
what they wanted. They just want us inside because we need to feel fucking connected.
Right.
We
So-
need to feel like we're participating in
and
the
that
world.
makes sense, and it does, and like that's a fulfillment, and I get to see what other people are doing, and if not, but then you see a lot of opinions, like, which is fine. This show is all opinions, it's whatever. But there's a lot of people who are just like don't believe it's a thing, and like open up the businesses and like all this shit like that. And then there was somebody who went on this long rant about opening up the businesses and this is bullshit and like everything and what is deemed essential and blah blah blah. And the person who commented was like, I started a group on Facebook that's like Buffalonians against excessive quarantine because this person is deemed non-essential. Yeah. So I look up this person, I look on her thing.
Yeah, this is bad because now everybody has the time to dig into it.
Exactly. So this woman who's making a stand for excessive quarantine, right? She's the owner of a business called Braid Babes, and like, so she just braids people's hairs. Like that's her thing. And so she's had enough of this quarantine thing. She needs to get back to work. And it's like, I understand, but like, you have to understand, like, people are like, oh, who's essential and this and that, whatever. But like, there's people who work in things that need to keep going, need to keep happening. I'm sorry, but braiding people's hair is not essential. It's not a thing that is going to save people's lives or keep the livelihood.
Right, but what about if that's how she makes her money to feed her fucking kids, or that's how she makes
that.
money?
I get it. I get that.
Who cares
I
what the thing is? You need to
that.
have everybody needs to. Well,
I'm non-essential too. I guard movie theaters. You know what I mean? I guard fucking restaurants. Like that's my. But I've accepted it that my the way that I make money in the world is not
essential.
It's not essential. It's like that
We've
is what
been
business
non-essential
is, though.
our entire lives, though.
Yeah.
Imagine someone not feeling the self-hatred we do. Like, these people actually
That's what I mean.
care.
Who have nothing, or not necessarily nothing, but they have things that they have to take care of. I get it. I understand. I'm not bashing that. It's just, it's funny that the person who was chimed in on this thing was like, I started this group.
Yeah.
It's like, I've had enough, and it's like, what do? Oh, braid babes.
Of course. Because
okay, I get it.
No legitimate, serious person is starting a fucking Facebook group. And it's
That's
just
true, yeah.
It's because all these people, she thinks she's gonna get on Ellen or something because she started. You know what I mean? That's all this shit is everybody just desperately trying. And if someone's like, "Hey, Braid Babes, we're gonna pay you this much money to be on our fucking show about the thing," and she'd just leave. She'd leave her family behind. She'd leave Braid Babes. She would leave all that shit. Everybody just wants to be famous.
Yes. And I mean, okay,
so
I
they're
understand
I'm going to be the
frustration.
one to take a stand. Yeah, the frustration and people don't have religion as much as they used to. Religion used to be everything, right?
Yeah,
Nobody
faith.
fucking goes to church anymore. That's what this political shit is now. It's now their religion. And they're so quick they just either want to believe one side or the other.
That's
so
true, yeah.
hardcore.
They have to
don't
hold on
even
to something.
They don't even it's just beliefs.
A lot of people aren't okay with just themselves. They have to have their things that distract them.
They have to have an identity. I mean, what are we
And
doing
who
with
doesn't?
this shit?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
This is my outlet, which is nice. I have music.
We at least try to make our outlets entertaining for other people. It's not just 100% narcissism.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's
We
true.
at least are trying to,
I mean, wait,
It's
you
like-
share this with people?
we're kind of mulching the garden with our own shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is. At least we're growing.
Self-serving, I guess.
Yeah.
So then a lot of other things. So to get away from that for a second.
Yeah, please, because it's corny as shit. Everybody on social media is gay as
I know,
fuck. It's so
just
stupid.
And
It's
nobody
so
knows
stupid.
one way or the other. People are
No.
just so absolutely sure of
They're
this.
gonna do whatever they want. They've been fucking kids on an island this whole time. They don't care what you fucking think on Facebook.
No, and I don't either,
Oh shit, Mr. Trump, Braid Babes is onto us. Fuck. He starts shredding papers. and shit.
More aliens.
Where's the fucking button?
Okay, this is how there's suggested thing or advertised, sponsored posts, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times there's things where it's T-shirts. And it'll be if it knows my basic info, I was born in December, so I'm a Sagittarius, and I have nephews and things and nieces and whatever, and it's so sometimes I'll get advertisements for T-shirts that'll be don't mess with the man born in December because he is an uncle who's loyal and fierce and brave and all these things, and it's all in different fonts. Each line is all different.
I
You
know
know what
exactly
I'm
what you're talking about.
And it's the
Corny.
most ridiculous T-shirt I've ever seen, and
It says a whole paragraph.
yeah, and
on
it's
it.
a dude with huge shoulders and an American flag on his back or
Yeah.
something. It's insane.
It's a Walmart shirt.
Right, but catered to what they think that I'd be yes, I am a brave uncle. You know what I mean? It's what? No, what the fuck? No, I'm not.
That's crazy. The targeted advertisement, but now they're they go through each little thing about you.
Right.
And they're I love Quentin Tarantino and I fucking defend.
Exactly.
They go through and personalize each line. And
Don't mess with a guy who finds pedophilia funny,
Yeah.
that would make more sense. But okay, so here
because
is one
someone's
that I
wife
think,
sees it and they're oh my God, I have to
that's what I
get
mean.
this for
Or
Gary. It's so perfect.
I don't mess with a grandpa who
Yeah.
fought in the big one or something like that. It's whatever. I've seen ones that aren't catered to me that I'm just whatever.
That'd be funny.
But
You
here's
start
one.
seeing them and they're just who cares how old she is? Love is love. You're that's crazy. I don't know why I'm getting
Yeah,
that. That's
uh-oh.
Hey, click, delete.
I use lube. I don't care. So it says. So here is one.
Just because she wasn't awake doesn't mean she wasn't alive. Well, Jesus.
If she was awake, she would have said yes.
She didn't not
Don't mess
say,
with a guy who works at a morgue. I'm wow, how does that?
Oh, it's crazy. Fucking algorithms.
Actually, so here was one that I think is completely out of nowhere because I've never made a reference to this online or searched anything or even listened to anything ironically like
But
this.
it's in your head. Then
I
they're
guess
reading
no.
your mind.
Well, here's the thing: it's not because here was one that was completely out of left field. These people even are running out of ideas. It says, I have a therapist. His name is Rob Thomas. And it's a picture of Rob Thomas on a fucking T-shirt. Like,
Yeah,
like Jesus.
yeah.
Like,
oh
almost.
my God, yeah,
But
like a fucking Mexican, like Virgin Mary. in a
Yeah,
bathtub
like a
looking.
candle,
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
But it's Rob Thomas, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, what? The singer of Matchbox
kind
20,
of-
if you are unfamiliar.
yeah, Rob Thomas.
Yes.
That's sort of an ironic Steve T-shirt, I guess. Maybe
I sort of, but that's not. I don't know if I would wear that one.
if
though.
it said like Uncle Jesse or something else, it would have been dead on.
Well, and then another one was
They can't all be
Jesus saves,
bullseyes.
but it was Jesus in a fucking goal, like a goalie
Like a
outfit
hockey,
and shit.
yeah.
Like that's more
That's
catered to
cute.
me. But I have a therapist. His name is Rob Thomas. I don't like that's not. I don't know if that's me.
well,
don't
dude,
know.
it was 3 a.m. You must have been lonely.
So it was 3 a.m. actually, because then I remembered Remember I brought up the Spotify playlist
Yeah,
and
the-
how I put the Black Crows.
Yeah.
And it came up with all black artists. So I did an experiment.
I
Right.
googled Chicago Blackhawks and it kept showing me basketball teams. Sort of the same thing.
Black Hawks is what they probably thought.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, did you voice search it or did you actually type it in?
I don't know. I had to do it with one hand.
So I
the other
tried
one
a
was
variety
busy.
of different. I didn't add songs to these. All you do is you type in, it says create playlist. You name a playlist, or you can choose to name it later or whatever. But you name a playlist, and then it suggests songs right away, right?
Right.
So the first one I did last night after thinking about this was "I Am a Racist."
Yeah.
Right? Playlist. So the songs suggested are I Am What I Am by Peter Tosh, White People by Z-Flow, Confident, Fighter, Christina Aguilera, whatever. So then I was like, okay, this is sort of, it's weird, but whatever. So then the next playlist I made was KKK.
Okay.
And then it was surprisingly black artists like Dr. Dre and Coolio and Chameleonaire. So that doesn't make sense. I don't really get what they're going with that, right? Unless they're thinking like I'm saying like KKK. You know what I mean? I don't.
Or they're like, we're going to convert this guy.
Yeah, maybe. Like maybe they're fighting against it. So then the next one I was
So
like,
now you're getting ads for T-shirts that are like, "Don't mess with a grandpa who keeps his bloodstream pure."
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I own a torch and a pitchfork. It's in the garage. I have granddaughters. Don't touch
My
them.
other car is a burning cross. My white sheet is in the laundry. Like, cute, dude. There's got to be those shirts.
I know, there
And
has to be,
somewhere
right?
in line in Walmart is a guy with a ill-fitting face mask and a T-shirt that says that.
My other belt is a noose. So then the next playlist I made was white supremacy.
Jesus,
Right. And then Barry White was suggested.
that's funny.
Yeah, Stacy's Mom by Fountains of Wayne, which I don't understand. But then
She was fine.
like Sweet Caroline, Neil Diamond, Plain White Tees, and Bon Jovi. So like it's like all pretty much all white artists except Vanessa Carlton. Is she white or is she black? Who am I thinking of?
Vanessa Carlton. I definitely
Maybe Carlton because he's black and Vanessa. Who's the? I don't know.
Someone's got to do a mashup of Carlton dancing to that. I think she's like, I don't know. She's something weird.
But it was funny because these are all just like white artists pretty much, except for Barry White. But it says white in the name, so I can see their weird algorithm going
White
on there.
supremacy is fine.
So then I put Trump 2020 is the next playlist I came up with, right? When this is my favorite, the one that I came up with, Nazi Punks Fuck Off by the Dead Kennedys.
Nice.
I was like, awesome. And then Fight the Power by Public Enemy, Make America Great Again by Pussy Riot, So then
Vanessa Carlton is Jewish on her mother's side, by the way.
but is she black?
No, not at all.
You can be Lenny Kravitz it, half black, half Jewish.
Well,
Blue.
she's Jewish on her mother's side. No, she's not black at all.
He's bluish.
bluish. I don't know. She looks fine as fuck in her Wikipedia picture,
Well, that's
too.
nice. Good for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one was out of left field, whatever. That was, So then the next one I did was Harvey Weinstein. Right? Harvey Weinstein playlist. So where do we go from here is Charles Bradley, right? The first one. I Learned My Lesson by Willie Davis.
Wow.
Let's Talk It Over by Lee Fields. I'm the King by Six Def.
Dude.
Rolling with the Punches by Blue Stones.
I think
And
you just-
It's About Time by Ruby Vell and the Soulphonics.
I think he just found his playlist.
That's what I mean. Like it's starting to, like, as it went on, it's getting better. Now I think either the person who's in charge of doing this is like, okay, I see where he's going, but it comes up with it instantly. So there is a pre-programmed
Some weird
thing,
algorithm.
Right? So then I was like, Harvey Weinstein. Okay, next playlist, #MeToo. That's the name of the playlist.
Okay.
Then it's all like actual song, like Lady Gaga's "Till It Happens to You," "Quiet" by.
Well, yeah, you hashtag me too. It's going to be that.
Kesha on there, right? Fucking Run, that thing. So I don't know if I'm going to. So then I typed in the N-word, right? N-word. And it's all black artists. Go figure, right? But that's kind of strange that I typed in the N-word just to see what it would do. And then it came up with all black artists.
Whoever's listening, we gotta open this shit back up. Do you see what he's doing with all this time?
But
you see this? You gotta open something up.
I'm just curious as to see what it does.
Let him guard a hospital or something.
Didn't
He needs something to
add
do.
songs to these playlists. I just deleted them, but I just wanted to see what it would suggest. So then the next playlist I came up with was "How Do I Tell My Dad I'm Gay?" And then it was all songs that I think my dad would listen to, like the Eagles and Elton John and Don McLean and Van Morrison and Billy Joel.
Well, that's
James
how it is.
Taylor.
That's not like emotional songs to help you through telling your dad you're gay. That's literally a playlist you put on, and then he hears all those songs. He goes, "Oh, he's gay."
Oh, he's totally gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gay. Exactly. So that was my end to that. I was like, all right, I don't know what else to search. But like, it was just because I had to see where it would go. Like where's the line?
That
drawn?
is interesting.
What do they know?
It is interesting. Some of them really, the Harvey Weinstein one really fucking fell right.
That one
in the
was
pocket
fucked
there,
up.
didn't
Yeah,
it?
I was like, that's really, it's kind of on the nose there. Like, where do we go from here? I don't know. So like, yeah, I do have a lot of fucking time. But I'm not like
that is interesting though.
Take me back. I'm essential. I need to no, it's like no, I know where I stand in society. I'm not important. Like you know what I mean? Like if it were different, I don't know, but
yeah, see, that's what you have, that self-awareness. Anybody who's going to start a fucking Facebook page about themselves and how they need to go braid people's hair again, they don't have
business is
dude.
Not
all of this social media it's literally splitting everything completely in half as far as, politically and everything. It's always just either two things and you join the side. And there's either these completely unaware motherfuckers who have such an insane view of where they stand in the world. Like like a girl who braids hair probably getting there and they're like, this is what they need to do at the border. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You braid hair. You've never left town. You've never been to Texas. You don't know what the fuck's going on down there. And it's just people have this inflamed version of themselves, or it's people like us who are just so cynical that like when they're like the world's collapsing, we're like, good.
Yeah, we're like, let's just see what happens. Just eat yourself.
I don't give a fuck. You're gonna give me $1,200 to watch the world burn? Fuck yeah.
It's
not about the money.
If someone has like, if just say before this thing even happened, if someone's like, oh, I'm feeling a little sick, or I think I have a cold, people are like, oh, stay away. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, don't touch me. And it's like kind of like a ha-ha, but it's like, that's what you do.
Who are you? Don't touch me.
Yeah,
you know how people are? Don't touch me. How'd you get in here? Don't touch me.
Get away.
Help.
That
back
classic
in the day,
thing.
somebody would get a case of the sniffles, they start screaming, help, help. Right?
Yeah, that cure for the common cold that I always use was smack him in the back of the head with a brick. But like, it's the same thing. So why, if there's this massive like killer virus going on, why are people like, you don't need to stay home, people are fine?
Because it goes to the, whenever I said it splits in half,
it doesn't make any sense.
it goes to the two completely extreme ends. It's not like somebody who's like, hey, there's some virus, so fucking, chill. Wash your fucking hands, keep your distance, I guess, for a bit until we figure this out. But we gotta, let's keep, if a restaurant has to close, all right, start doing takeout. Everybody has to kind of try to adapt. Let's try to help adapt and survive to this weird thing. That's where it is. Yes, it's a real thing, but Jesus fucking Christ, why they're like, well, we're going to put cameras in your eyeballs now to check and see if somebody hasn't been quarantined for 14 days, we're going to kill them. Like, whoa, that's a little extreme. And then there's other people who are like, oh my God, they're taking care of us. Please help, government, help me. Like everybody was screaming resist to like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
As soon as the government's like, stay inside, they're like, yes, sir.
Yes. But then there's other people who are like, this is a fascist fucking thing. Like, where's it
Because
gonna
there's
stop?
people who live in small towns who they're fucking miles away from anybody who has this thing. And they don't give a fuck what's happening in cities or the rest.
No.
They don't give a shit.
No.
So it's like, all right, nobody from fucking a big exposed ass city go into a small ass town and kill all those people. Everybody in a small ass town don't let anybody in for a little bit. You know what I mean? We were doing that anyway.
That's true. Especially Lewiston.
Stop touching each other. That should be a rule from the day one. Stop touching each other.
I think it kind of is.
Yeah.
So, I've been watching a lot of, movie franchises to kind of pass time and shit like that.
I watched Back to the Future. I got a few things to say.
Okay. So, good. So I was watching, I love the Lord of the Rings movies. I think they're incredibly well done. The Hobbit movies, not so much. He just kind of did what George Lucas did with the prequels and just made them more flashy, and there's too much going on. It's hard to see. It's not enough of a story to make 3 movies out of anyway. But so then I was wondering where like some things lie from like the book as to, how does it translate to the book to the movie, whatever. So I asked, like, I was on this Reddit thing just kind of reading. I looked up this question, and then there was this advertisement that had nothing to do with anything about Lord of the Rings or the Bible besides it's a piece of shit, because it says, the advertisement was how to entirely empty your bowels every morning, revealed in parentheses.
That's 100% a Steve thing. Whoever's sending
I've never
you these
Googled
knows
like
you.
how to empty. I take shits fine. Like
you
the
don't
next
need
person.
to Google it. The Alexa, your phone. If any device
Maybe because I
knows,
use it while I
yes,
take shits,
yes,
like so it
if
hears me fart or something.
Any device knows devoice. Yo, devoice. I love that
Yo.
show, devoice. If any device knows when you're shitting, it's your phone. It knows how long it is. It's listening to the whole thing,
true.
and they're just like, "This kid is gonna die. We need to send
I
him
guess,
a
but
fucking-"
not really. I mean, like in my way unhealthier days, yes, I would understand. But our phones weren't as smart. But maybe
Just
it's like maybe
every
now-
time you shit, Alexa calls an ambulance.
Yeah, you should have one on standby. This one doesn't sound very good. But that's the thing. I mean, I was taking fine. I've
100% of the time,
healthy.
there's an ambulance and a carpet cleaner, a Stanley steamer truck outside of this kid's house all the time.
Yeah, I mean, there should have been back in the day, but now, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I'm looking up things about the Hobbit, and it's like how to entirely empty your bowels every morning. Revealed. World-renowned cardiologist explains how with an at-home trick. So this cardiologist is just taking shits. He just happens to be a cardiologist. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Like, Braid Maid fucking reveals how to fucking, turn your trash into fucking, a garden.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
That might make more sense.
I think Peter Jackson, because you're talking about how much The Hobbit sucks. Yeah. And I think Peter Jackson was like, this kid's full of shit. So here's this ad.
I guess, yeah, that's true, too. It's a fucking joke. I did go on a rant to somebody posted that they were watching that shit the other day.
You gotta get off that shit.
And I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I'm watching that movie too. He's like, yeah, I didn't really like
the front of the bike.
He's like, I didn't really like the Hobbit movies as much, and I was watching the extended versions. And I was like, yeah, this is my first time watching the extended ones. I'll see if it's better or whatever. So then, at like 3 a.m, this guy's like a brand new dad too, so he's like asleep. And I was like, yo, man, I know it's late, and I apologize, but I have to say this.
Is that on Facebook?
This is on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
I was like, fuck dwarves, man. I was like, they're a bunch of dicks. And they are. The whole movie, they're all just a bunch of dicks.
Is that Elijah Wood and Rudy? Are they dwarves?
No, those are hobbits. So the Hobbit movie, they're hanging out with a bunch of dwarves. And the dwarves are known as a bunch of dicks around. So they do a good job as portraying themselves as a bunch of fucking dicks. But I don't want to hang out with them for 3 fucking movies, especially 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, even their weapons look stupid. So like, this guy doesn't need to hear any of this, but I need to talk to someone. And I was like, oh, let's spend 12 hours with a bunch of dicks. What is this, a dirty movie triple feature? I was like, no, if it was, it would have been worth the money to try and come 3 times and leave even emptier inside than you were before. At least with a porno, the feeling would be justified. Jesus. And it was seen and not replied to. So, that's where I stand. But I know that I'm not worth a damn. I know that I don't do anything to help society. Maybe besides help people laugh or something.
That's pretty funny.
I
yeah.
take care of my dogs. But, like, I'm just kind of riding this out. Just, I don't know. If nature picks me to die, then I guess I have to fucking die. If it doesn't, then I'll just be like, all right. Let's go from here. I don't know. Let's see what else happens. Let's see how Star Wars can disappoint me in the future.
You can't die. We got to get these things out of your system. That needed to be said. Does this guy? So this guy's a Dorf fan.
He's a Lord of the Rings fan, you know, like
Maybe he
whatever.
likes
And he
doors.
was like, he was just saying, I'm not like a fan of the Hobbit movies as much as he was the Lord of the Rings.
So
that
you
was our
were
conversation
you were
prior.
backing him up by saying that it sucked because the guys.
Well,
the
yeah,
little
because
guys
I was like,
sucked.
well, so far so good. The extended version was better because it did give more substance. Then I realized as the second movie happened, I'm just hanging out with these bunch of fucking dickheads for longer than I should have in the first place.
And the guy's like, yeah, I know how that feels.
Exactly. When you can't escape from somebody who sucks, like.
He's just like, yeah, okay, whatever, dude. It's a movie. I don't know what the fuck.
And we've talked about movies, you know, he's an Evil Dead fan. I love Evil Dead movies. You know, we hit it off on that. Yeah. But I don't think he was expecting a rant at 3 a.m. for no
I think
reason.
people are going to start getting real weird at that shit. I think we should probably monitor like Reddit and all these things and look specifically at like 3 a.m. time zones and be like when people are saying the weirdest shit because they're all just so lonely. But the internet the only way people know how to communicate is negatively. That's the only thing that gets attention. You put a nice thing up, everybody goes,
like,
yay! And then 30 seconds later,
No
a
one
celebrity
cares,
does something, and they're like, oh, fucking give me his head. I want to see him die.
Well, that's why the news is all terrible stories.
Yeah.
You know
Negativity
what I mean?
gets attention. I have a theory about Sonic.
Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yeah, the movie.
Okay.
Remember when like a trailer came out and it was like really bad?
Yeah,
it was like the Coolio song was in it. Gangster's Paradise was the song, and
Really?
like the timing didn't add up. It was fucking
Yeah, it
really
was-
weird
yeah.
and off and bad. And I was like, what the fuck? And it was international news for like 3 days.
Yeah.
How shitty it was, and everybody made like a petition online to them to
change
redo
it.
it. So
Yeah.
they invested money, and it was this huge story. And then the new Sonic came out, and it made a fuckload of money.
Yeah, it did.
I'm like, yo, I think that was a fucking little bit of a play. I think they're like, because
Wow,
negativity
yeah.
gets attention. And
Yeah.
you put out a good trailer, people go, oh, cool. And then they're like, he said what? And then they're obsessed with other shit. They're onto it. But if it's negative, they're like, they just feed on it. They
Yeah.
feed on the fucking negativity. Like, you know what I
You're
mean?
right.
You never go on a rant about a thing you love.
No, that's true.
You just click a like if you see it. But if you hate something,
I went outside. It was a sunny day. The birds were chirping. It was fucking beautiful. I loved it. I realized I haven't talked to some friends in a while. I hit them up. They're doing well. Everything is great. You know, that doesn't really happen.
No, because that's why you can't really
Yeah.
read like reviews, like TripAdvisor reviews, because the only time I would ever sign into a thing and write a review is when I was like fucking pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's true.
Fuck them. They need, if it's good, you just are like, you just have a good time. You don't really talk about it.
Well, that company that I worked for, that security company that didn't pay me and
Yeah.
all that shit, right? So a lot of their reviews online, I just needed a job, and all the reviews were like 1 stars. Were like, "Fuck this company, they don't pay you." Fucking, and I brought it up to them in the interview, and they're like, "Yeah, well, only like there's only negative interviews because only people who are pissed off like leave not interviews, reviews."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, I guess." And then the opportunity came where Indeed.com like recently asked me, like, how is your employment at this security company? And I was like, 1 star, fuck this, they don't pay you, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, because now I have the time. Now I'm
guess
turning
sometimes
into
it is
internet
true.
Karen. You know what I mean? Like,
I guess sometimes it is true. I think that's a play. Maybe that'll help us because this has all been very negative and angry. I think it's cathartic. It's fun to listen to people say mean to let people release that steam.
say
you
it
know what
for
I
you
mean?
almost.
Yeah, yeah.
So they can be, well, I didn't say it, but they did, so I'm entertained. So that's good.
That should be a segment. People should be like, "Hey, could you guys tell this?" They could do it anonymously. If you want to tell somebody to fuck off, tell us who it is, and we will use whatever's wrong with us to like just on this
That's
person
a great
we don't
idea.
even know.
Like almost like a cameo type of thing.
Yeah,
but
O&A
with us.
used to do like the "fuck you" line where people would call in and say and like "fuck you" to my boss and all that shit.
Yeah.
But we'll do it for you, like because that'll help us release some fucking whatever's wrong with us, and it'll give you a little cathartic thing. Somebody else got to do it for you. You don't have to find, and we don't even know who we're talking about.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
so
like that idea.
It's where we get to be really shitty to this person, but nobody really gets stuck with it after. Because it's nice to tell someone to fuck off and call them a cunt, and then after you're like, I should have just been quiet. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
It's just a fucking movie. It's just a bunch of hobbits. I don't really care.
It is. Well, I did feel better after, and then the next day I was like, that was so unnecessary and ill-timed. Like, this guy's a dad. He's a new father. Like, he's sleeping, probably doesn't sleep very much.
I can't get involved with these fucking meth head fucking Lord of the Rings guys anymore all night with the fucking...
Well, it was just funny because the conversation that left off was like, yeah, it's like so far so good, with the extended version. He's like, I'll have to check him out. And then I was like, all right. Like, a few hours after that movie ended, I was like, fuck this. Fuck Peter Jackson. Fuck it all.
Did you see? I don't know. It's this thing that was happening, I think, yesterday. It was over the past couple of days. It's this dude, Professor Wilhelm or something on Twitter. And he was getting girls' pictures from OnlyFans, like paying for them and getting the pictures, and then sending them to the girls' parents. Like he would do.
Holy shit!
He's like a crazy.
He's like a fucked up Robin Hood.
Like a weird religious guy who's like abolish sex work and how it's a sin, and he's like this crazy black dude.
But
and
he's investing in it.
But he gets their shit and then sends them to like their parents, and then the girls are like crying and freaking out, and he's like, "You need to relinquish this sin. Repent, exactly." And he's got a whole army of dudes that are like helping him now. It's like, "My lord," like calling him my lord. It's like a cult leader
he's
shit.
fucking jerking off first.
Yeah.
Like it. Like there's no.
And he's into like weird, like he's fucking cutting, like bleeding and shit. Like while he's doing it, like he's jerking off with a fucking like a steel
razor.
wool or something. Like no guy that fucked up is just jerking
true.
off normally.
He's got like matches lit in his toes.
If he just
he's
jerked
like,
off
he's got to
normally,
come before
like,
that.
yeah.
He's got to come on his feet to put it out.
Well,
or
he
else.
comes as soon as it starts to burn. That's when it really,
Yeah.
It's
I'm lucky I don't have any
sort of
weird
like the
thing
James
that has
Bond
to make
thing.
me come.
It's burning down, or the Mission Impossible
The
thing.
wire, the laser going
Yeah.
towards the cock. Yeah, I'm lucky I don't have weird things that.
No, if it was just normal, he would just jerk off to their picture and be like, "Oh,
thank you.
all right, I guess it's not that
That
bad."
helped
Yeah,
me
yeah,
through
all
this
right,
time,
cool.
this troubling time.
Yeah, so
that's what I
weird.
mean. That's going to be my karma. My daughter, if I do have a child, it's going to be a woman, and she's going to probably end up selling things. If she was selling like old socks or old underwear online, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People do that, and they actually make a lot of
yeah.
money, which is smart. It's very smart because there's some weird old shoes. People buy it. It's fucking weird, but it's not that horrible. But if you're like, yeah, I'll give you an extra fucking $50 to fucking try and sit on that Pepsi can. You know what I mean? Like, that's weird.
Try.
Yeah. And then crush it.
Yeah. Well, then you think how big the world is, I guess, if you just send your shoes off to some fucking dude who lives in Japan or something, and he pays you and you get the money, I guess you just kind of forget, you're like, whatever's going on out there, it's so far away.
It's out of your fucking, out of sight, out of mind
You know
type
what I
of
mean?
thing. I mean, why not? And a lot of these girls don't show like their face necessarily. They'll just show the feet or show
I
the
always
panties.
think, like, you ever see that and you're like, I wonder if this is somebody I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've never ever come across somebody I know, bro. And we've all seen millions of girls naked, like on the internet every day. It's like you can't even avoid it.
No.
You go to look up shit and it's just like, hey, tits. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like you can't avoid it.
Hey, empty your bowels.
I'm just saying, like you got it. Like sometimes, like you think, and you're like, what if like it just popped up and it was a girl that you know? You know what I mean?
I've seen things before, like on the chive. You know how they'll post like, like hot chivettes
you
or
start
whatever.
looking at the shit in the room in the background. You're like, is this that?
Yeah,
fucking
that's what I
skit?
mean. I've had a couple like, like, is that? But
I've had a couple
I've never
of
had
that,
confirmed.
but exactly.
Confirmed
fuck.
things.
That'd be pretty cool.
But you got to think it's bound to happen sometime, right? I mean,
The odds. What I'm saying, the odds are like the amount of people we know.
there was a guy.
There's like a graph. There's like the chicks that
Yeah.
you know times how many you look at, which is a lot.
Yeah, a lot,
It's like
yeah.
odds are you had to have fucking stumbled across
Seen
one.
one. Oh,
and
yes.
then you like hook up with a chick and she takes her shirt off and you're like, oh, it's you.
Hey, yeah,
Freckle tit. Freckle tit 665. It's you. Oh my God.
because you're not quite that bad, but you're bad, but you're not that bad. Yeah, dude. I mean, that's. I don't know. Maybe it would have. I don't know what I would do if I've seen pictures of a girl's boobs that I've known that like somebody has shown me,
Sure.
but never came across it on like a forum on the
Yeah,
internet.
yeah.
There was a guy a few years ago in Newfane that got arrested who was in jail for a while because he was putting up nudes of local girls
you
without
can't do
their
that.
consent.
Yeah.
No, but it was like a big thing.
Yeah,
and
that's a horrible thing to
pervert
do.
I know who used to be our drummer fucking told me about it.
Ken.
Yeah, Ken.
Ryan. What the fuck, Ryan?
You perv.
Neil Peart.
Yeah, man. It's
I mean, look, it's one of those
That would
things.
be devastating.
Dude, it's exactly what we talked about last time with the girl with the fucking skin tag on her asshole. It's like I'm sitting there literally on the show going, this is horrible, man. I feel bad for these girls. Scroll.
Yeah.
This is terrible. This is so
awful.
mean that somebody
God,
would just
yeah.
scroll next page. Scroll.
Yeah.
Like, it's, I'm sorry. There's the devil and the angel.
Did I ever tell you the story? Okay, so there is a legendary picture of boobs going around of this girl, local. Everyone had it. She didn't send it to
It
everyone.
was like coronavirus.
Yes, it was spread. It spread like wildfire.
They had
Right?
to shut the schools down.
Yeah.
Everybody's jacking off too much.
Well, it was a very Jack-worthy photo, okay? It was very, she should be proud.
This is fucked up. Yeah, I know.
But
It
at the
is
same
fucked
time,
up.
here's what happened. So I worked on a job site. I was doing the electrical work at the fire hall in Lewiston. And there was a lot of different construction companies there. They were, like redoing the whole place, right? So everyone would go to this pizza shop that had all these attractive girls. And so they were like, hey, these girls are hot, go here. And so that all the construction guys would go to eat at this fucking pizza place, right?
Right.
So then somebody discovered, they're like, hey, the girl who works here has got this fucking, look, I found this picture and it's her tits, right? And everyone, like, at back of the fire hall is just like, whoa, what's going on? They're like, dude, look at this.
Of course, that's what
There's like
it's-
100 guys ever looking at it. Then they show it to this one guy, and he's like, oh, let me see, And then he's like, that's my daughter.
Really?
And it was silent. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. Can you imagine being all like excited and then being like, yeah, oh my
And then you
God.
just
and the
watched
whole place is going nuts over this. You know what I mean? Because everyone's like, wow, look. And they were impressive. They were amazing boobs. Like,
This guy didn't go.
and her
with it.
face was in it. That's what I mean. It was her face and her tits. And like, it was, yeah. I think he went home. I didn't see him. Actually, I didn't see him very much after that. Like, at
Yeah,
all.
he just took like 4 feet of rope and left.
I'm gonna need this. Don't mess with.
I don't know.
Don't mess with the dad with the daughter
Yeah.
with huge tits and a robe.
I know. That's
so brutal.
This isn't nice. This isn't pleasant. But I can't keep it inside.
Okay.
So all these girls are like, well, I don't. If this ever gets out, I don't want my face in it.
Right.
Odds are, once again, the amount of nude chicks on the internet, the amount of guys looking at nude chicks on the internet is pretty much everybody on the fucking planet. Mm-hmm. And every girl takes 1,000 pictures of herself. So multiply that. Billions. We're talking huge numbers here. In those huge numbers, the odds of a dude whacking off to his daughter's body unknowing because her face
wow.
isn't in it
Yeah.
are pretty fucking big, right?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
That's some old boy shit, man. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whew.
Man, well, good thing her face wasn't that, because he would have been like, damn, send that to me.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking awful.
Yeah, crop. Let's just crop that out there. Does anybody go with Photoshop? Can you change my daughter's face?
I mean, this girl, I don't like her looking at me.
I don't like. You got to change the face because it's weird. If you could use the chick from Big Bang Theory, that'd be cool. Because the tits are great, but I can't have that face looking at me. It's too weird.
That chick from Big Bang Theory actually has a bunch of fucking fabbening things too.
They all do, because they're
I
all
know,
hot as fuck.
I know.
I have a cat who's like the most beautiful thing in the world. I take pictures of it all the time. If my ass was that beautiful, I would have tons of pictures of it. You know what I mean? I don't have any pictures of me, because who gives a shit? I have pictures of the cool shit I own.
The thing is, in this day and age, right, if you take a picture, and that's not just locally, it's everywhere. If you take a picture of your tits or your naked body as a woman, or even a guy, if you send a dick pic to some girl, that is not the only person that's going to see it.
No.
Her entire friend circle, everybody like that. It's just out there, and the fact that people are like devastated when that happens, it doesn't make sense. Even say if they send it to their boyfriend or something, that would be a different story.
Right.
But if it's a flirt, if it's a thing, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
sending
it's
nudes,
going to get
yeah.
around, because there was a lot of times where that happened,
it's-
where I
so
saw a
only
picture of a
s-
tits of tits that of a
Picture of a
girl's
tits.
picture of a tit, from a girl that I knew. But she didn't send it like that. But I'm not the only one that's happened. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like
You gotta know. You gotta kind of know and trust who it is. But also, you knew I was a scorpion when you picked me up. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
It's gonna happen. So like, if you don't want it to happen, then I guess just don't send nudes. Like, just don't do it.
Yeah, but keep posting them to Reddit without your faces.
Yeah,
'cause-
or do it tactfully, or tastefully, tactfully, really. And you know, if you have any identifiable tattoos, that might be a factor, you know, a deciding factor.
Blur them out, yeah.
Or
Because then there's chicks who do that. They blur their tattoos out, and it kind of starts looking like a crime scene photo. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. They blur their faces out. That's creepy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, I don't know. And the same thing with like the Asian porn. You know, if it's filmed in Asia, not with an Asian chick. If it's filmed somewhere in Asia, it's blurred out. They got the weird fucking, what did you call that, steel wool type fucking pubes. You know what I mean?
Crazy pubes. Gene Wilder's head and their fucking crotch. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and you do have to use your pure imagination to figure out, you know, what that looks like, because fucking it's all blurred out, which is, I guess, fine.
But then
maybe
it's
should we
all
adopt
like
that?
subway rape fantasies too.
That's
Like,
what
it's
I
the
mean.
most
It's
demented porn, but
not
they're
only-
like, we're
yeah,
not
it's-
going to show a penis. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's unwilling participants, I feel.
Yeah,
It's
she's like crying and just
like
it's like this horrible thing, and she's like being whipped with samurai shit, and they're like, but don't show the dick. That's classless.
yeah, no, yeah, shit, we can't show that. They're all like burning her with cigarettes and shit. You know? Internet's a fucked
She
up
gets
place.
punished for stealing a fish, like in Free Willy. You took my fish.
Man. You took my fish. You're oddly good at that, by the way.
Yeah, well, I
You-
spent some
you have a
time
really
over
good
there. I
samurai
spent some
impression,
time over there. I got to know their ways. Took a lot of fish.
Is prostitution illegal over there, or is that like?
I don't know.
Is it
That would have
different?
been a thing to look into. Huh?
Yeah. Hey, Lee, let's go back.
Everything is. I mean, yeah. The sexual cartoonage is. You know, you walk into like what appears to be like the Disney. Imagine the Disney store, but all the characters are fucking each other. Like that's what the stores look like. It's all bright and colorful like cartoons. So like, yeah, there's definitely
want that to
mad,
exist,
weird
actually.
sexual shit, and you know, but no, I don't know. I didn't look into prostitution. I don't know.
As a kid, has a cartoon caricature of a woman ever turned you on?
Yeah, Lois Griffin's hot as fuck.
Jessica Rabbit for me.
Of course, Jessica Rabbit.
Rabbit.
You're not fucking breaking any boundaries here,
I'm just
man.
saying. It was then
I'm gonna-
one day I came
I'm
to and
gonna
I was
say
like,
it.
this isn't
I'm gonna
right.
say it. I think something weird happened with that whole JFK thing. Like, yeah, no shit. Everybody knows that. Everybody's want to fuck Jessica Rabbit for like ever.
I know, but I'm just saying that was my first one. You know
Lola
what I
Bunny
mean?
from Space Jam. Get
Oh,
the fuck
shit,
out of here!
Yeah,
in those little
she
shorts.
Was, she was hot.
Fuck,
She was
dude.
hot. That
Dude,
was
I
weird.
have
It's weird.
I have
It's like
issues of-
bestiality, but it's cartoons and it's all not
There's
real.
mad cartoon porn out there because of this. Like, there's a reason for it.
There's
I have comic books of like Batman Hush when Harley Quinn and Catwoman are fighting in the fucking the opera.
yeah. Yeah. Wow.
They're like, what is he doing? That's not sexy.
Yeah, you think I need to get out of quarantine, pal? I think.
It's a chick. She walks out of the bathroom in sexy lingerie, and you just start.
Dude, yeah, well, I mean, okay, yeah, Jessica Rabbit, yeah, plainly hot, but I'm just remember when I was a kid, like, that was like, I knew it was weird and it was wrong, but like, whatever.
The robot maid from the Jetsons. I'll say she had something. She was sassy. There's something about her.
I have seen now, like Flintstones porn, but not the cartoon, like actors. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Scooby-Doo stuff, you know what I mean? Where,
Like-
like, Fred sneaks off with Daphne and Velma,
Yeah.
you know, and you're like, all right.
Hell yeah.
You know? Like, that's cool, but it's weird because I'm like, did I ever think about... I mean, Daphne, I thought, was really hot from Scooby-Doo.
Daphne's hot as fuck.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's, like, video game shit, too. When, like, there'll be a video game
Oh, yeah.
girl who just does not have a rib cage. Like,
No,
from,
not
like,
at all.
an
Just
old
huge
dancing,
tits
just
and a
huge
fucking
tits.
giant ass. And
You're just, like, staring at
Lara
this.
Croft. And the best interpretation I've ever seen of a video game get, like, even hotter was Angelina
Yeah.
Jolie in that awful movie. But, like, dude, that I had that picture in my locker of the poster of Angelina Jolie in Tomb Raider. I didn't even see the movie, but she was so, like, unearthly hot. Like, it wasn't even real. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's, definitely shaped me as an adult. Like, you know, weird
Well,
things.
that's, you got to remember that it's all being drawn by some fucking creep.
Yeah, who's
Like,
never touched a pussy or anything.
Like anime porn and shit like that. You're just like, yeah, they draw like they're super realistic, like, you know, like things, you know, and it's like, hey, look at those big cartoon tits, but you know, it's just drawn by some dude who's like,
I had a roommate who had or the roommate his roommate before I moved in had all these like My Little Pony stickers.
People love that shit. My
And
Little
it was
Pony porn is a thing.
Yeah, Clip Clop it's called, which is weird.
Why?
I don't know, but that's his
Bronies. Aren't they called bronies?
What's that? What's a brony?
Like a dude who's into My Little Pony.
Really? Yeah. Oh, well, that would make sense. Mm-hmm. Brony. Huh. That's weird. And that's a thing, too. Yeah, but, like, translation, into, like, if that actually, you're fucking a horse or something, or really, like, even bestiality porn. Now, to know that I didn't like it, I've seen it. You know what I mean? It's not like I had to watch it to be like, yeah, I don't like that.
Like
but when something's advertised, if it's like how to properly evacuate your bowels every morning, then you're going to look into it. But if it's like, yeah, a chick gets fucked by a dog or a donkey or a horse or something, you're like, well, I mean, it's there. And
how
it
do
already
you know
happened.
you don't like it if you don't try it?
You know what
It's
still
like a little
fucks me
kid
up
with,
to this
like,
day?
corn.
Actually,
What?
you know what still fucks me up? And it was at your fucking house.
What?
And you and your goddamn roommate. Remember the video of the guy putting a glass into his ass?
Yeah, everybody's seen that.
Everyone has? Everyone has?
I've heard a million people discuss
Really?
this video. Yeah, it's a dude like squatting on like a mason jar or something, wasn't it?
I don't listen to things like that, and I don't watch things like that.
And he gets it all the way in his ass, and it's
breaks.
incredible. And then you just hear,
Yeah, and then it's all this blood, and it's just like,
and
oh
they're
my
panic,
God.
like sheer panic in the dude.
And at the same time, that same day,
These were the early days of the internet, man. People wanted to see that shit.
The stumping.
It was
the
Homestar Runner immediately into this.
the guy.
That's what the internet was.
Yeah, that's true.
For us, for our generation.
The stumping thing.
Some guy getting stump fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, in
That's
the
just
ass.
funny. Come on.
It is, but I don't think about the
It's
stumping.
like a Fairly Brothers movie. It's hilarious.
It was Ben Stiller, actually. I should
Yeah,
have-
Ben Stiller getting stump fucked.
Yeah, it's not that crazy.
It's like, one of those funny wedding movies where like the cousin from Iraq has no stump and he has to stump fuck Ben Stiller. And it's alright when it gonna be the right thing. Yeah, Dustin Hoffman's like, whoa, wacky grandpa. Remember that stump fuck scene in Meet the Parents? We gotta keep. Anytime we have a guest, we have to do the Casper thing.
The
We have to
Casper
just
thing
keep
and the
adding
stump
them
fucking.
on.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, I like this.
Just
This is
anytime we
good.
talk about a movie, just bring up some scene and be like, yeah, dude, you don't remember that?
The stump fuck, the deleted stump fuck scene
All
in
right.
Meet the Fockers.
Seeing disgusting things in movies. Back to the Future.
Okay.
Classic. We watched Back to the Future the other night.
Yeah.
We were gonna do all three. We got through 2, and I'm like, it always happens. I'm like, 2 is just goofy enough to be like, all right, I think I'm fucking done with this
Yeah, it's never.
shit. And
good.
it's amazing. Okay, when they put them out, there was years in between.
Yeah.
So to go love the first one, then go back to the theater, see the second one, and how they intertwined it all
Yeah.
is fucking cool as shit. Must have been mind blowing. How they kind of do the same scenes
Oh, okay.
in the future, and then he
Right.
goes back to the past and he sees them all do it again. They intertwine the first movie and the second one. Had to be mind blowing. When you watch them back to back, you're like, yeah, we just saw this.
Yeah, it's like not
we
that big.
just
of a deal.
watched all this like 10 minutes ago. Why are
like-
they showing me like
It's called an editor. The guy edited the scene.
Yeah, I'm watching Biff hit the cow shit truck like 5 times in a row. All right, and then at the very end of the first one, the classic scene. Hey, Doc, we don't have enough road to get to 88. Where we don't need roads. And then the camera pans up and you look at the road. You're like, there's more than enough road. It's like a straight shot.
Yeah.
For like as far as the eye can see. What the fuck? You totally could have been. Like, what is he talking about? Like, you're in a fucking souped up DeLorean, too. You could hit 88 pretty quick. You did it in that parking lot. You could do it on this road.
That's true. They did do a test run. Yeah, they did it in a parking lot, right?
Yeah. He's like, we don't have enough road. It's not like there was a dead end there or anything. It was like straight shot. There was like one crossway, but if someone saw a fucking flying DeLorean, I'm sure they'd stop.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
bullshit.
at that point, yeah.
And-
Then you could just go back and change that and then not kill that person.
Yeah, you know
what I
how many
mean?
people Doc hit? He's like drunk driving the DeLorean around, and then he just kept turning back like 5 minutes.
He's like, this is exhausting.
this whole thing's fucked up.
My God.
So what the fuck? All right, the first one, there's some unbelievable things in the time travel movie. One of the most unbelievable is that he did not fuck his mom because she was so
She
hot.
was super hot.
Dude, she was so hot.
And nobody
so
would know.
Cute.
Nobody would know.
And it would just be so funny if it was like, Marty, great Scott, did you have sexual relations with your mother? And he's like, Come on, it's the 50s,
We
man.
don't talk about that.
It's the 50s. She didn't even have to really fully agree to it. We're drinking whiskey. We're in the car. She's in that little dress.
Yeah, she kind of had to do what I say. I had
Yeah,
to
I hit
fucking.
that. She was jumping for it, too. What am I supposed to do? She was fucking going after it. She's not my mom yet.
That's true.
She's so hot. And then I think, didn't Family Guy do the thing about, like, later in life, like George McFly's like, hey, Lorraine, remember that weird guy from high school who you were in love with? And now we have a son who looks exactly like him. Like, exactly like him. Like, it's the same fucking guy.
Did you ever? Yeah.
Yeah. And it would be funny if there was a deleted scene where, remember at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance, the band takes a break?
Yeah.
And they're all smoking weed in the car. We don't want to mess with no reefer addicts. It would be funny if, like, Lorraine was with them. And she's like giggling, and then Marty looks down at the picture of his brothers and sisters, and like all these black kids start like fading in.
Up, yeah.
And she's just like smoking doobies and laughing with the band.
You're like, no.
All these black kids start popping.
We got to go back.
And then you see the cops come in and beat the shit out of the guys, and then they fade away.
They fade out.
Oh god.
Woo! I forgot about that whole civil rights thing that
Crazy.
happens.
Yeah. Oh, we're in the
next 10
50s.
years.
We're in the 50s. I forgot. We're in the 50s. It's okay.
I thought I was going to have to stay here and become a fireman. Yeah, you know what? Like, time travel movies are always, like, the first one is always, like, a pretty cool fucking concept, like Terminator, right? Terminator 2 was one of the rare exceptions where they did it, like, fucking better and was awesome. But it couldn't be a thing without the first one, right? But then as the shit goes on, like, as it's, like it dilute, like, the Terminator franchise is fucking shit. After the first two movies, because you can't, like, it's too confusing to keep, and then the same thing Back to the Future, it's just too confusing to keep happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you gotta pay, and then
It
this
gets all-
changes that. And
Yeah,
that changes this,
I had
blah,
to
blah, blah.
kind of like we had to kind of pause it and figure out what the fuck was going on. 'Cause
Yeah.
Biff is now from the future, but now in the past, and
That's
it's
what-
like it's a whole. It gets confusing.
They're like, it doesn't make sense. I don't care. Write it in.
it's cool.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just it doesn't matter. You know, like but like, and then there's what the fuck was the time travel movie? That just stopped making sense after a while. I don't know. See, that's the point. I just don't
Yeah,
care. You
it
know what I
gets
mean?
confusing.
Like, it's
Well-
interesting the first time. The Avengers, fucking Endgame. That's how they do it. It's like everything's devastating at the fucking very end. And they even make a reference to Back to the Future. They're like, isn't this the plot to Back to the Future? And they're like, no. And then they're
Yeah.
like, this is like Back to the Future. It's so fucking, I get it. Marvel's like, hey, we're
They're all-
cool and you're
I don't know
cool,
why
and,
every
like,
superhero has to be a snarky comedian now.
that's what it is.
They
It's-
all are like the funny sidekick.
It's all the same. Captain Marvel was she's super hot, but there was no difference between her and any of the other fucking, you
Yeah.
know, assholes in that franchise, which is fine. I loved it, but then, like, you get to Endgame because you have to. You get to the final one after 20
Did you
fucking
write
some
this on
goddamn
that
movies.
guy's Instagram page? This sounds like
this
something
rant.
you'd
I know,
write
right?
on that guy's Instagram page.
Yeah, I just have a whole thread of him just.
He's finally like,
just,
I'm
it's
gonna
all
check out this
seen,
guy's
but never.
podcast. And it's just this. He's like, wow, this guy's got one speed, huh?
But the thing is like, so at the Infinity War, Thanos snaps, blah blah blah, devastating. You lose half of the fucking goddamn Avengers. Everyone's
And then
gone,
they
and the
change it
world.
all with time travel,
And
right?
then time travel happens, and it's like it
They
never,
just fix it. He's like,
yeah,
you could
and
have just
then they all
done this
come back.
already.
That's what I mean. And it's like they just figure out, you're smart, you figure out time travel. Tony Stark's like, okay. And then like he's like, hey Hulk, can you figure out time travel with me? He's like, all right. And then they do, and then they go back and they make all a bunch of jokes and funny things, and they all meet their parents, and they're like, hey, take care of your son. It's nice to see you. Death doesn't matter in those things at all. That's what I mean. Like, it was heavy at the end of Infinity War because like they all fucking died, and you knew that they were gonna come back somehow, but like it felt like they were dead. And then it doesn't matter. So then there's no real, like when you go back and watch those things, the whole series,
None of it mattered.
It doesn't matter. None
it's
of
like
it. Not
a
a
dream
single one of them.
sequence when you find out it's a dream sequence, and
I
like
hate
they've been
that shit,
and then you're
dude.
like, oh, so none of this mattered or happened, unless like it's like Sopranos where you know it's a dream and it's all weird shit.
It's like the
like
end
they
of
make you know it's a dream
that's
pretty
true.
quick.
Like Roseanne. Did you watch Roseanne?
Yeah, where it
Remember?
turns out she was writing a book, but
Yeah.
she was all fucked up on Ambien, sending out tweets and shit,
Yeah,
and then she
she-
got in trouble.
Yeah. Well, like, but the ending of that show is like, yeah, she was writing a book, and like none of it happened. Dan, you know, was dead or something, right? He had a heart
Dan
attack.
died, and she wrote all of them making how they won the lottery. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it
all
started,
of that was
yeah.
the thing. Yeah, it was fucking stupid. And then they had a baby. She had a baby when she was like 56 on that show.
Named Jerry
They
Garcia.
named it Jerry
yeah.
Garcia because I think it came out around like when Jerry died.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And
that
like,
makes sense.
yeah, they were deadheads and shit.
And I loved that show. There were some classic
Roseanne was
moments.
fucking great. Yeah,
You know, but
second
like,
Becky's.
Yeah, second Becky
second
for
Becky.
sure. See, that makes more sense to kind of jerk off to in a weird way.
Second Becky?
Yeah. Not first Becky. Not first Becky at all.
First Becky was white trash hot, perfectly cast.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, I guess. Like, yeah, if she worked at the fucking drive-in,
Which she
or
did.
something.
She worked at like the meat fucking bucket or whatever the fuck the restaurant
the
was.
lunchbox.
Yeah, the lunchbox. Yeah.
The meat bucket.
Whatever the fuck it is.
appetizing.
Oh,
for
a
sure.
box is a lot better.
Lunchbox is pretty gross too.
Yeah. Second Becky was a hottie.
Yeah, she was, and then
So
but
you're
that
saying
didn't make
it's
sense.
more normal to jerk off to Second Becky than it is to your daughter's headless body?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I
We're just-
mean,
I'm trying
yeah.
to find the line here.
But
Where-
if you were like, hey, here's this nude I found of Second Becky, and you give it to who the actual photo,
you
it's actually
hand
this
it
dude's
to Dan
daughter.
Connor,
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, cool.
it's not like it's first Becky, it's Second Becky.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're not really,
Yeah.
That was a good decision by them. We need
Also-
someone hotter. Let's just, you know what I mean? You're gross. You did not age well. It did not it did not go the way that we planned.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Let's get her out of there. Let's just not even really bring it up. Just bring in the hot chick. Fucking. Also, I mean, look, you pick one side of the political coin. One day, one side wins. One day, the other side wins. I'm down for a fair fight. I gotta say, Back to the Future kind of puts one in the fucking MAGA column because in the 80s everything's spray painted and shitty and everyone's kind of miserable, and then he goes to the 50s and it's bung 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 bung.
Everything's
bung, bung.
nice and
I'm like, hey,
post-war we just won the world.
everything's
war
clean.
the
and
second time.
nice. The biggest problem is just Biff, who's just kind of an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. You're like, MAGA. See.
I get it now.
As soon as they voted that fucking Mayor Goldie Wilson, as soon as they elected him, that's when it all went to shit. You're like, all right, but Uncle Don, let's watch
for some
the
reason,
movie.
I didn't subconsciously. I find movies that like have like one like I'll watch a movie, two different movies back to back or something. You know what I mean? One movie after the other, but featuring the same weird star. Or
Yeah.
not star, but like the person who was in it. It's like a weird connection that I don't realize.
There's a guy. Fuck, I can't remember. He's in a bunch of shit. He was like in fucking Vicky Cristina Barcelona. He was the one girl's like husband who was kind of a twerp. And then he was like the husband in something else. And then we were just flipping through the channels one day and like You Got Mail was on. And it was at the end. And he's literally the guy like working at the bookstore. And we're like, what the fuck is this guy following us?
That does happen.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's weird. It's like, but so this was a little more like I had watched Back to the Future not that long ago. And then I got on like this war movie kick. And in the 80s, they put out a lot of Vietnam movies. And one of them that's not that good is Casualties of War with Sean Penn and fucking Michael J. Fox.
Right.
So it was very off-putting to be like, Michael J. Fox is like this, like...
Doc, are you telling me
Yeah.
that Charlie is in the trees?
is in the bush? Yeah, and then like the whole movie is about like, he's again like Sean Penn is like his Sarge, and he fucking like, they steal this fucking
Spicoli and Marty
Vietnamese girl
McFly.
from a fucking village, and then they just like take her along in the bush and rape her the whole time.
All right.
And then he's basically Marty McFly without a time machine, so he can't go back and change what they did. So you have to live with these consequences, and that's what like I was kind of thrown off because like in my head I was like, can't they change this? Like, can't he go? Oh wait, no, different movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was very off-putting. Just the whole thing, and I don't know why. I knew that I didn't like that movie. Again, it's a Brian De Palma movie, and he doesn't. He's friends with all the right people.
Right.
He knows Scorsese and Coppola and shit, who make all these fucking classics, like
What else
amazing
has he
films.
done? He's done. Like,
He did
some-
Scarface. He did Carrie. I liked Carrie a lot.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he did. But
he
then,
did Carlito's Way.
What was Carlito's Way is funny. The pool party scene is the most hilarious, like reefer madness scene for cocaine.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Dude,
It's
if you
insane.
look at it, it's like literally a big fat guy just snorting rails, and then he goes, ah!
Yeah.
Like, yeah! And then like grabs a chick and starts like dry humping her,
Yeah.
and it's just like so over the top.
It doesn't. Yeah, that's
What's the one with Kevin, the Untouchables?
Oh yeah, that's a Brian De Palma movie too.
There's like a whole sequence of like they're on horses and chasing Al
that
Capone,
movie
and it's
sucks,
like a western.
dude.
It's
People
really weird.
love it. That movie fucking
It's
blows.
like old timey cinema. It's someone who grew up watching like old timey cinema, and now
Right.
he wants to make those movies.
And like, okay, I get it. I can see why other filmmakers like his stuff.
At
and there
that
are
time, it
things.
was retro, I guess.
Right, but it just
I like
don't know.
Carlito's Way. I like Scarface.
I like Pacino. If Pacino wasn't
Yeah.
in Carlito's Way, then I would not watch. The funniest thing in that movie is actually
Sean
listening
Penn?
to Viggo Mortensen try to do a fucking
yeah,
Spanish accent.
Yeah.
Carlito. You know what I mean?
We were at a pizza place in New York, in the city, and on the wall they had all these signatures from all these celebrities, and it was fucking great. And on one picture was a picture of Al Pacino in Carlito's Way.
Yeah.
With John Leguizamo, Benny Blanco from
Yeah.
the Bronx. And you see Al Pacino and you see like squiggly and you're like, holy fuck, Al Pacino. And then you look and it's like, hey, we love your pizza, the John Leguizamo. I'm like, shit. Like, why would you, what the fuck? Like, why,
Yeah, right.
don't
Why
put
would you put
Pacino in the
Leguiz-
picture?
Yeah, well-
Because if it was just John Leguizamo, you'd be like, hey, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, but if they have
But
this far superior.
Yeah, you start thinking it's a Pacino and then, you know what I mean?
Usually there's some times where I'm watching an old movie and like the credits and I'm like, yeah, like cool, like this actor, and then it'd be like, and John Leguizamo, and I'm always like, fuck, because he sucks, dude. Like
He was a great Luigi. I think he lent a lot to that character.
that movie. I
Are
actually
they going to
love.
try to do like an Avengers thing? Because everybody just wants to do some sort of Avengers thing where they build a whole cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Are they going to try to do that with like Sonic, and then they're going to try to do a Mario movie? And
Well,
try to do
Sega and Nintendo are different
Oh, so it's a
companies, so
DC
I don't
Marvel
know.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know if that would work, but they could do a Nintendo thing.
Oh my god,
but
dude! I have this, the whole theory about the infantification. George Carlin said it was pussification, which
Yeah.
is true, but now it's infantification.
Okay.
Where they want everybody to be a fucking baby. They want 35-year-old people crying at the SpongeBob movie. You know what I mean? Like they literally. That's why this whole thing's happening. They're stunting our growth.
Okay.
Look at us. We're two grown men. We should be talking about like our kids, and we're just like, well, Sega and Nintendo are two different things. So they wouldn't cross in the universe.
I am just self-aware enough that I knew if I brought a child into this world, it would be
You would beat it for playing with your toys.
right, and it would be
would be a
bad for
retarded
me,
girl.
bad for the retarded girl, right, and bad for everyone else because it's an offspring that I'm gonna have really, honestly, no control over. So at least with me, my parents, who are very good people, tried their damnedest. But I was the last one out of 4. So they were very tired when it came to me.
You are the Jaws 4 of your family.
Exactly.
It's like they had a good run. They put it in. It's all right. You watch it because you like the rest of them.
And then, Jaws 4 happens. And you're like, let's just pretend. I mean, it exists. It's here.
I'm kind of the same way. Like I'm in that. We're both in that weird thing where like we're the youngest.
Yeah.
And by the time our parents got to us, they were like, "Oh Jesus Christ, just do whatever."
Like,
Fuck.
yeah,
I don't care. And then our siblings had kids when we were both very young uncles, so it was just on to the grandparents thing.
That's why it sounds
So we were
creepy.
left alone to fucking just sit inside and just obsess over Back to the Future and whether or not he should have fucked her. I vote yes. She was so hot.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that life. You know what I mean? I don't regret like not like doing the textbook American thing, college, fiance, fucking kids, wife, you know what I mean? And like, I mean, my parents would probably enjoy that. They would like that very much if I had a house.
The times they are
You know what I mean?
changing.
But like,
shit ain't like that anymore.
I think, I think happiness is the thing that people kind of don't strive for. They think that they do by going through the textbook things and whatever. Or if that's what makes them happy, then that's fine.
Yeah, that's good. I get it. But
You know what I mean?
I think you're right. There's a lot of people who do what they think they're supposed to do, and then I'll be good, and then I'll be good. And
Right.
then they look, and they have 8 kids that they hate.
Some of the most successful people I know are the worst people I've ever met because they've never let the shit out. Or they're the drunkest people alive because they don't it's like, the kids who like hunkered down in high school and did everything they were supposed to do. Meanwhile, you and I were getting fucked up and chilling.
Right.
And then at college or even just at that time where people are supposed to be in college and we were still hanging out.
Yeah.
And they started to get fucked up and they were the worst
They
at
didn't
it
know
and
how
they
to
were
handle it.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'd been
those
there
are
for
the
a while.
infantification. Like you stay in school. you kind of, I don't know, I guess, like, oh, get out in the real world. But yeah, no, I'm not saying like it's tough out in the real world. It's fucking boring. So like when people are just in school all the time, they're working towards a thing, and then they get out, and they're like, all right, something big's got to happen.
Yeah, I need to do
something. Because it's been like, well, when you get into preschool, this is going to happen. And when you're done with preschool, then this is going to happen. Then life's going to start. When you get out of college, then life's going to start. But then you got to go to grad school. Then life's going to start. Then you got to get an internship. And then when you get the real job, then you're 60 and you're like, wait, what? It's been going this whole time? Fuck.
I'm dead.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck, I'm dead.
I never went back in time and fucked my mom. All my missed opportunities.
Curse this.
Yeah. And this isn't some Freudian thing. Everybody's seen the movie. She was hot as fuck.
She was a babe. She's totally.
Yeah,
she was
a babe.
Actually, speaking of Jaws, she was in Jaws 3.
She was. Yeah. She's an absolute babe.
Yeah, totally.
You fuck her if you're mine. Fuck her if she was dead.
You know what? Yeah, I think. You think? I mean, necrophilia.
Yeah.
Not that weird, because there's no resistance besides like actual like physical boundaries. Resistance.
Well, hopefully you can get in there quick enough to where like the death traumas are going off, and she can give a little back. So it's like one of those vibrating sex dolls.
I think the best thing to fuck would probably, like a dead thing to have sex with, would be a kid. They probably have the toughest and tightest holes.
Yeah.
And does it matter? Because the kid, there's no conscience, there's no soul, there's no nothing. It's just a vessel.
Dead kids don't have souls.
Do you know what I'm saying?
A dead ginger
No,
kid.
the soul was there, if that's what you believe in, and it has since parted
I'm saying
from the
just
body.
to be safe, it's got to be a dead ginger kid, because then they never had a soul in the first place.
Okay, I guess. But I'm saying,
But some people like to take risks.
Exactly. And that's what life is about. So if you do work at a morgue, we should have a mortician come in here. Actually, one time we did have a run-in with a mortician. It was very strange.
Yeah, that guy was weird as fuck.
Don't ever. We put out advertisements on fucking something for a band member. It was in college.
Yeah.
We were at a trip or something, and this fucking dude showed up with a lot of drugs. Actually, he asked that on the phone.
A lot of drugs, yeah.
He asked us on the phone, didn't he?
Yeah,
wasn't he
so you guys, like, we were setting up to come over and jam, and what gear should he bring, and where are you guys at, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, do you guys do drugs?
we were like,
yeah, I don't know, a little bit. You want to smoke a joint or something? Sure. And then he was fucked up. He's like, sorry, I was all benzoed out.
Yeah, he was falling asleep.
And remember we wanted a drummer, and he was like, I'm actually more, like, when he got there, he's like, I'm more, like, looking to be, like, singer-guitarist. And we're like, that is not
what we signed up for at all.
He was all fucked up.
So he was like practical. So this dude who showed up for not the wrong, the wrong position in the band, and then was like practically OD in your basement. You know what I mean? It didn't make any sense.
Mid overdose. But dude, so we jammed and like we were good, and he was all fucked up, and he blew my phone up for like 2 weeks after that. And I just ignored the whole thing. I just ignored it. And honestly, we met another guy who knew him, because that kid used to drive an ice cream truck. Remember the stories he told us? He drove an ice cream truck and used to sell acid out of it.
Yes.
There's probably people who were like, oh my God, that guy?
Yeah.
Because like I've met multiple people who knew him. He's probably an all right fella. I don't know. That was our experience. Was we were looking to start like an actual professional band, and this kid showed up like drooling and didn't want to play drums, which is what we wanted.
It was not what we expected right out the gate.
All right, bud. Like we're obviously on two very different pages here.
And then he also, right? Didn't he also work as a mortician? Or not as a mortician, he worked at a morgue. He wasn't the guy.
He was like the apprentice
transported
or something.
bodies or something.
Jesus.
It was very odd. So he sold acid to kids and then hung out with dead bodies and then took a bunch of fucking benzos to fucking deal with it, I guess, or cope or something.
Maybe he saw like the full circle. Like he sold kids drugs, and then kids got hooked on drugs, and they moved on from fun acid and drugs to like heroin and shit, and then they died, and he took care of their bodies. It was sort of a full circle.
And then had sex with them.
If anyone would, it probably would have been him, yeah.
But yeah, I'd say if you're going to go the necrophiliac way, try it a kid, because they definitely have the toughest and tightest of holes.
Because you want it to be the best, but I feel like you could just rip them apart. They're too fragile.
With the rigor mortis and everything, isn't that like
that's
tougher?
what I'm saying, dude. You got to time it out.
That's
like,
what I mean.
As soon as
there's
they
a window. There is definitely a window.
Starts ticking, and there's going to be a good part in it. You know what I mean? Like baking a cake. Like you got to take it out right at the right time, because it kind of keeps cooking while it's sitting in the pan. You got to get like those hand
warmer things, like, you know what I mean, and tape them kind of like around the hole, so you know what I mean.
It keeps it warm.
Yeah, so you have that experience, and then you have to have a lot of lube or jelly or something. I don't know, something slippery.
Well, of course, yeah,
very slippery.
Even if it's an alive kid, you need that.
Well,
So do you find that this helps these types of conversations? Because I'll go
To get it out?
Yeah,
The
I'm
demons.
sort of like, this is sort of remember in The Watchmen when Rorschach was going to that therapist in prison, and the guy just kind of had to go with him on his crazy shit to like even get him to open up.
So
I
that's
feel
what
like that's
you
what
feel-
I'm doing. Yeah, and then I'm upstairs with the light, and Lee's like, "You can't take the work home with you." I'm like, I'm this close to cracking a case.
can't do
He
it.
brought up all this crazy shit about fucking dead kids today. I don't know what the fuck. This is my work.
It was like the podcast this episode started out as me being like these
Angry.
these people who are, these intolerable people, and then I'm just like, I tie it up with the old fucking a dead kid. They're the best dead thing to fuck. So that's me. That's what my quarantine's been doing. You know what?
I would say no. I'm not going. The kid thing's weird because I'm not attracted to alive kids either. Like I don't
No.
care about kids. Fuck a dead thing would be fuck someone you'll never be able to fuck ever. Like
So you're
you
saying
know what
make
I
it
mean?
work?
You
Yeah.
find like some Venezuelan gang lord who's like has the hottest wife on the planet and nobody's allowed. If you get within 20 feet of her, he kills you.
Right.
Like that. Like the most unfuckable thing. Well, no, not like that. Like, the most unfuckable thing in the world. Not like a gross thing. Like I'm saying a hot one.
Yeah.
A thing that you'll never ever get the chance to again. Because if you wanted, you could kill a kid and fuck
make it work. Yeah, make it worth it. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not.
In dark times,
about
we go to
murdering
dark
children.
things. No, you're not gonna. No,
It's
come
already
on.
dead. That's what I'm saying. And the
You're
soul
not
is
gonna
lifted.
kill
You're
it.
not.
If
You're
you
not
just-
taking anything away from it. You're not changing it. You're not tainting its youth.
You're
It's not-
walking your dogs one day. They run up to a dead kid, and you're like, "Hey, no!"
No.
And then they start rolling around.
Yeah, they
in
roll
it.
around, and then you do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you're like, oh,
Like, yeah,
I get
they
it.
seem to be into this. Yeah,
And then that's how you bond with your dogs.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
'cause you
what
both
Caesar
know that.
Milan taught us.
Oh man, dude.
All
Yeah,
right.
that's fucked
Let's,
up.
we
Remember,
want-
I was like, yeah, I feel bad about the last things I said on the last episode. And I see do I do myself every fucking
Well, I
time.
feel there's okay. So I put out little clips here and there, and we did one for the Captain's Jug of Thoughts about our friend J Rock had a very funny idea for a bounty commercial.
Okay.
About like him and his buddy were in the boat and they're trudging down the lake, and like there was he was in the commercial, a thing of paper towels bounces out of the boat and hits the lake and sucks the lake up.
Okay.
But then the boat crashes and it's like really violent and there's blood, and then they clean up the blood with
With
the
the
paper
bounty,
towels.
yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, there's like a dead guy, and then they pull the sheet over him, but it's a bounty paper towel that they pull over his face. So we did the video, and I was like, I want Ice-T from Law and Order pulling a sheet over somebody.
Yeah.
And because we talked about that before. I couldn't find it. I couldn't even really find just a gif of a guy putting a sheet over it. But what I did find was, what's her face from Twin Peaks, the dead girl. What's her name? The girl they're spending the whole show looking for.
Yeah, right.
They're putting it over her. I'm like, oh, that's an iconic sheet over a dead face thing from TV. Like, that's iconic. Everyone will know that. And I did it, put it out, whatever. We go for a walk, and when you walk, you start thinking. And I was like, there's probably a lot of people who don't know what the fuck Twin Peaks is. And they're just like, dude.
Yeah,
what?
where
They
did
just
you-
think it's actually. This kind of goes back to the jerking off to Daisy Ridley on the slab. You know what I mean? Like, dude, wait, that's just a dead body. That's not funny. That's not a comedy show. What the fuck is that? I'm like, no, it's from The Thing. They're like, I don't know that. People don't know. Just think we just. Where did you get that? Where did you get the footage of that dead girl?
It says from mobile. You know what I mean?
It's like comedy comes from the darkest places. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we should probably take a break for a second.
Yeah, I got it.
This is the Thurman and Lala podcast. And it will be right back.
That's the like the Western New York fucking
Like weather emergency.
Yeah.
There's
breaking.
All right, that was dark. That got dark.
It
That
did.
got weird.
So I'm
But
gonna lighten it up.
I think that's kind of where people are gonna go. People too much inside, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Now look what happened there. That guy was ice. The Shining is the ultimate social distancing movie, and look what happened there.
Dude, it's funny that you said that because Kaylee and I were joking around, like, if we're argue or something, we'll go in separate rooms and living room or the bedroom or something and kind of just, distance ourselves. And then she was like, the other day, we weren't in a fight, but she was like, you okay? Like from the other room. And I just sent her the picture of like Jack, like just like the camera zooming in. And he's like all crazy, insane, just staring off into nothing.
Kaylee, light of my life. When you hear this, it means don't come in.
It's the polishing is what it is. It's not the shining, it's the polishing.
The Shining now would be like a dude playing a video game of a guy throwing a tennis ball against a wall. Like he's not actually doing it.
It's a Wii tennis
Yeah,
thing.
he's throwing a Wii tennis ball against the wall.
Isn't that funny that video games and they're like, finally, here's one that you can interact with, and everyone's just like, nah. Like it was fun. It did service a lot of parties that we would hang out at.
Wii is fun
like,
because that's more of a social video game. It's not like a zone in by yourself
or like a
video
shooter
game.
or something.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, my nephews watch these YouTube Fortnite videos and shit, or like whatever game it is.
Yeah.
It's literally like sniper, like it is the point of view of a fucking massacre.
Yeah.
Of a school shooter, and then they fill them full of pills, and then kids do that shit, and they're like, "What happened,
Dude,
How did it happen?
modern-
Must have been Marilyn Manson."
Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
I love those games. Now, there's a level.
Do you think they named it Call of Duty and they were all like, like shit, like get it, like shit jokes, like that's probably what made it popular. You know what I mean?
Duty.
Yeah.
What should we call it? I don't know. Call it Duty. So anyway, so like when you first download the game or you put it in, right, it says the first time you ever play it, it says there's some content in here which might not be cool with you. Like, are you sure? Like, there's a level in here that's a little questionable.
We should get one of
And they're
those
like,
for the beginning of the show.
yeah. And if you click accept, then this level's included. If not, it's just talked about. Anyway, so the level is you as you're undercover and you're in this like Russian terrorist unit, right?
Right.
And you are in an elevator, and then all of a sudden it opens up, and you're in an airport.
Oh,
and
dude,
you
yeah.
You and 3 other dudes just open up on this crowd in an airport. You shoot
think
all these
this
civilians.
was discussed with Patrice and Anthony discussed
Really?
this on O&A.
It's
It sounds
fucked.
familiar. Yeah, and they showed like the video of it and shit.
It's fucked. I mean, and I play it every time.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. Like if you play Grand Theft Auto, right? You're picking up hookers, and
Yeah,
then
you're doing wild shit. You're
doing
driving
your thing.
cars off buildings and shit.
Right.
You're doing wild shit that you couldn't do in the normal world. That's why it's fun. Imagine if you could just walk into Los Angeles and do whatever the fuck you wanted.
Well, when Grand Theft Auto 5 came out, you can actually see titties in this one for the first time. Like they
Yeah.
always had strip clubs, but they always had something on, like
Yeah.
whatever, and it just didn't
That's
look
what-
good.
yeah.
These look like fake video game tits, but with actual nipples now. So it's wow. So my nephew at the time, when this came out a few years ago, he was like, well, he's like, did you go to the strip club in the game? Like you can see their boobs, and you can literally, there's a button to make it rain, and you can just drop, hundreds of dollars.
it's hilarious.
At the time. It's
It's
funny,
fucking hilarious.
But I was like, you know what? Here's a good uncle moment. That I could. Here's my opportunity to share a lesson. I was like, yes, that is very cool. But do you know what else is cooler? Real boobs. Get out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get out there. They're much better than this video game.
Yeah, it's the video game's more it's just funny. It's funny as shit that they're like it's hilarious. So you shouldn't actually be getting a boner to that. But there's the whole thing with like, the older generation. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
we used to go outside and play.
You used to
And
play
now
jacks in the alley.
everybody's inside all the time, just playing the Xbox. I used to go outside and play. And I'm like, yeah, because you didn't have an Xbox.
Right.
If you had an Xbox with tits in it, you'd all be fucking locked inside doing that shit anyways. Fuck you. He's 13 years old.
Absolutely.
Like,
Why wouldn't you? Like, it makes total sense. But like, I didn't have that. So I did have video games, and they were great, but they didn't.
Yeah,
have,
did
like,
you hear what
actual
we were
tits.
talking about before? We're sitting here whacking it to fucking Jessica Rabbit. Bugs Bunny dressed up as a chick is all we had. We didn't have a fucking titty bar we could go to. The fucking Tom and Jerry's fucking maid's ankles. That's all we could get. That's all
They were
we had.
huge skankles.
Yeah.
That actually sounds like the mammogram thing that we did. That's, I think, where I got that voice.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom.
Yeah, it's pretty over
Chasing
the
him
top,
with a
isn't
fucking
it?
rolling pin and shit.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Speaking of my nephew, when I was younger, I had a yellow lab named Sonny. Greatest dog of all time.
Sonny was the best.
But when they first moved back, Julian, my nephew, was roughly Sonny, my dog's size. So Julian was outside. It was this beautiful
Is that a
moment.
dog
It was a
joke? You
spring
making
day.
dog jokes now? He's roughly his size.
No, man, you did. You own that.
You
okay?
did. No, you
fuck.
did. I just pointed it out.
Anyway, thanks for
I
derailing
call it
us.
out. I call it out.
So it was a beautiful like summer day or whatever, and it was like I'm looking out. I'm on the back patio, and fucking Julian's he's playing on the swing set and everything. He's just having the time of his life. He's just a kid. Like birds are chirping. Like that's all he has to worry about. No video games, no nothing. Right? Then my dog, like he's like all excited to play with somebody, so they let him out. And Sonny's never done this before. He ran out and like Julian went down the slide. Sonny like tackled Julian as soon as he hit the ground off the slide, flipped him over. I'm not even kidding you, and started fucking him. But his pants were on and everything. He wasn't successful. But Julian, Julian had no concept of what the hell was happening at the time. So he was just like smiling, like what the hell? We're like no. It was just this beautiful moment that was ruined by this instinctual need to fuck. You know what I mean? Which I guess happens a lot in my life. You know what I mean? Beautiful moments ruined by the instinctual need to fuck. But yeah, so that was funny.
Yeah, I never like those public videos where it's like a couple on like a Ferris wheel and she blows him. I'm just like, this whole thing's gross.
Yeah.
Like this is a fucking disgusting Ferris wheel with little kids that are in here with like sticky cotton candy fingers and shit. Like, how are you getting a boner at this?
Luckily, I never got a handy at the Peach Festival, but I can imagine it would have been very uncomfortable. Yeah, like cotton candy hands. But if she did just have a turkey leg,
like they're in Bali on a cliff overlooking the thing, and the guy's like
the public porn.
Just touch it. It's like, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, that's weird, man. I don't know. I don't dig it.
I
I've
think
had
it's
sex
sort of
in
a-
public, like outside and shit before.
When it
but
has to
it
happen.
was weird.
Sometimes it has to happen.
Yeah, you go with the moment, but like, okay. I had sex. You know the commercials for EG Tax?
Kind of.
G Tax, right? And
Yeah.
Esther Gulius, right? So I dated this girl who lived next door to her on Lake Road.
Wait, the girl, like if she was in this commercial?
No.
Who's the actual?
The woman who owned Esther Gulius, who owns EG Tax.
All right, I don't know these
The
things.
next door neighbor was her next door neighbor. The girl that I dated was Esther Gulius.
Oh,
right?
cool.
So there was one time where now I see the commercials and I always kind of laugh because there was a time where we were outside rolling around and banging on this lady's lawn furniture and she had no idea.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's fucking nuts.
That's what I mean. It was funny. And
So now every time you see that commercial, you're like, I fucked on that lady's fucking chair.
Like she has
That's
no
hilarious.
idea. And they would sit out there, and she was old, and she is old. Still obviously this
Did
is.
you guys not like her or something? Or
No,
what the-
it was there was like a berm separating their 2 yards, and we were on
Okay.
top of the berm and just happened to roll. And then we got that crazy idea, hey, let's fuck on this fucking sweetie swing. Let's bang on this
Yeah.
fucking hammock.
That's
and it was all
hilarious.
there, and they weren't outside. It was at nighttime, so yeah. So now every time I see EG Tax commercials, I'm like, thank you, lady.
That's great.
For the lovely lawn furniture.
I got a Blumpkin in Keith Radford's bathroom. But I think I've told that story before. Tale as old as time.
You're not serious, right?
It might have been his. I don't know.
No.
You're partying. Channel 7 throws those motherfuckers.
Have you ever
can
had
throw
a
down.
Blumpkin? Has that ever been a thing? Okay.
No. Yes, no. Assume anything I say after the record button is pressed is a fucking joke. No. I've never had a Blumpkin. I've never been to Keith Radford's house.
No, but I'm just saying, just Blumpkin was what Keith Radford's
No, that
bathroom
goes
would be
into
funny.
blowjob on the Ferris wheel. It's like, yo,
Yeah.
all right, you're really, and some dumb girl's like, I'll go, okay, I love him. And it's like, you're giving her your scars now.
Yeah,
you
that's
got to
true.
figure this out, man. Why would that even be?
I just wish that was a true story for you, man.
Oh, so do I.
I see that motherfucker walking his dog all the time.
Yeah, I was just, naming a local celebrity.
Keith. Have you? So someone brought this up the other day, and it was weird because it was like a few people, and they were like, "Have you ever seen a dead body before?" And everyone was like, "No," and I was like, "Yeah."
Jesus, we're back on this here.
Well, why not?
Well, if you were gonna see one and have to fuck it, would you rather it be a kid?
Well, I didn't have. There was people around, so I couldn't have sex with it.
You're like a fucking like an old man who keeps just like kind of telling the same old factoid. Harold, not again. No, let me come on. I
No.
want to ask. I just want to ask. Like those old men who just constantly have to ask the same question to everybody. What do you think about the,
Oh, jeez, but this again, Harold.
There was one old motherfucker who would always do that trivia shit, and he would be like, he's like, true or false? What is the most highly populated college in all of this blah, blah, blah county? Somewhere in like California or something. And I was like, true. Because he asked it wrong. He was like, oh, wait, hold on. No, hold on.
Well, have you ever seen a dead body?
Other than like at a funeral, no.
Okay. Well, there was another like precious little kid moment that I was experiencing when I was younger. My cousin came in from Arizona. He was about the same age, and I love to go to my family's cottage on Lake Erie. So we get there. My mom, she's driving, and we get there, and like we don't even take any of the groceries or anything into the cottage. We the first thing we do is we run up to the sand hill, like it's in the backyard, and over that's the beach, and it was like, yeah. So we ran up there, and we're like, this is it, Nick. Like this is the beach. He's like, wow. And because he's from Arizona, he doesn't see water. He just sees dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And shit. And so it was nice. He was like, oh, this is great.
What's
and
all that
greenery
stuff
and
on
trees.
the end of the desert?
Yeah, exactly. This ends? I didn't know that. So there was like a bunch of people. It was now Lake Erie is the stormiest of all the Great Lakes. It is the shallowest, therefore it is the most dangerous. So the undertow there is quite strong. I've actually been pulled under before, and that's a whole other story. That was scary as fuck. But the undertow does happen, and so there's a lot of people who know, just don't, if it's rough in the water, don't go out there because the fucking water will literally pull you under.
Yeah.
So there was these remember the story I told of where I fell down? Yeah, I crashed my bike. So it was the same location. These people had a bunch of friends over, and they were all drinking and shit and swimming in the water. And fucking, we saw this one guy. He was out by himself, and he went under, and then we just didn't see him come back. And then we could see all the people in the distance, like kind of looking out, and they're all looking and they're yelling and shit and whatever. And fucking, he can't see this guy. Then after a while, after like fucking, I want to say like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Then there's this other pop-up, the body pops up in the fucking water. And he's not standing, he's floating, and he was blue. And I was like, what the? So here's what happened. So we get to the car. We're all super excited to get to the cottage, right? You know what I mean? Like, here's the beach, man. It's going to be so fun. It's my cousin, like, that I never see from across the country. And here we go. And then immediately the first thing we see is this guy die. Wow. This guy drowns, And we were kids. It's not like we could have done anything, and they were so far off. But, like, the undertow took him under, and it was a adult. What you're supposed to do with an undertow is just relax.
Yeah.
And just take it. Just
Don't
let
try
it
to
happen.
fight it.
Because if you do, then it pulls you under. So one time, my experience with the undertow, we were like, again, little kids, and like it was too rough out there. So there was a bunch of like our neighbors had jet skis and shit, and it was like they were all like kind of tied up. They weren't out on their jet skis. So us as kids, like we would just sit on the jet skis and pretend that we were fucking riding them. And I jumped off to like go back into shore. And it was only like a foot or two deep of water, not very much at all. And I got sucked underneath the fucking jet ski. I jumped off, and the undertow took me right under the jet ski. And the jet ski ended up on my back, and I could not move, dude.
Kind of like Sonny on the kid at this. Like the
yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's kind of a related story where like I didn't have a choice. I just had to take it and go with it.
You ever been fucked by a jet ski?
And it was fucking terrifying, man, because I'm like, my face is being buried in the fucking sand.
Yeah.
And it's like the water, like, and the weight of the jet ski and everything. Luckily, a wave came and like fucking lifted the jet ski up, and I was able to like get out.
Jesus.
But nobody knew what, like, I got up, and nobody even saw that happen. Like, nobody was like, "Are you okay?" Like, nobody had any fucking idea.
Notice until,
no, like, yeah, and it was terrifying, man. It was
that's
fucking
scary.
scary.
Fuck that.
I don't like water where I can't see the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't touch, I don't like that. every creature in the ocean wants to eat you, so I don't like to go in the ocean very often, or at least deep. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrifying, dude.
Yeah, it is pretty terrifying. Everybody's like, what do you think's out in outer space? You're like, nothing. Look at all this shit. Look at how fucking crazy the shit we do know about is.
Nothing. Who cares,
There's
dork?
giant fucking there's giant fucking squid in there and shit. And it's like not even that far away.
No. And you're just in there. Like, we're not supposed to be there by any means, but
Yeah.
we built boats and things to make
We
us go
literally like
underwater.
die if we go under there for more than like a minute.
Yep. And we still, of course, have to
'Cause
go
we're
there.
Curious little cunts.
We are curious little
We
cunts.
just have to go fuck with something. We have to just go get it and eat it.
That's what I mean. And then they're like, oh, it's tragic that somebody drowned in the middle of the ocean on a boat, or somebody fucking it capsized, or they got eaten. They're like,
That used to just
I
be
mean,
life.
You're kind of asking for it. I mean, like, really, you are kind of asking
Because
for it.
before, roads, like look at every major city is on water because that's how transportation was. That was the
Mm-hmm.
highway, was water. And it's like every ship that went out, like at least 12% of the guys on that died. And like they all had 7 kids. They were all like 22.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like shit was fucking dark back then.
There's actually on Lake Erie is the most shipwrecks out of any of the Great
Wow.
Lakes too, because it's so shallow, so that's so stormy, and then there's like
Yeah.
2,000 plus documented shipwrecks. I have a book about it. It was fascinating actually because it's
Yeah,
fucking
that's
crazy.
pretty cool.
And you can see some of them. There are barges and shit I've been to. There's a lot of dive. It's a popular dive spot.
Yeah, I think
people go
Lee's
to.
done that. Dove
Really?
down and like been like
See, I
'cause
don't
you could
think I
dive
could-
down and be like on the boats and
Yeah,
shit.
exactly, and that's fascinating, but that's also terrifying. I won't do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's crazy. She
No
hasn't done it
way.
in a while, but that's
Not
fucking
diving.
nuts.
You're not supposed to do that shit. And then if you breathe wrong, you fucking die
Then
too.
it's
Like you have a
adventure-
bubble.
yeah,
It's
you
like,
have to-
what the
if you
fuck,
come
fuck
up
that.
too
Fuck it.
fast, you
Fuck it
pass
all.
out.
Just I'm surface level swimming. That's what I'm doing. Fuck off. And even then, I'm like, we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jacuzzis with chicks with their titties out. That's the only water. There
It's
is.
like it's
I
like
was
a
in-
fucking the motorcycle people. They're like, oh, whatever, this guy in a motorcycle died, and it was like, well, yeah, like yeah, like you know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're in a car and you're going fucking 70 miles an hour and you crash and you die with all that protecting you and you got a seatbelt, right?
Yeah, imagine nothing.
And if you're outside of something that's on 2 wheels going the same exact speed with nothing but a helmet, and the guy dies,
Yeah.
and everyone's like,
and like a bright.
oh my god, watch out for motorcyclists. It's like, well, I mean,
No, you do because people love motorcycles. And
yeah,
motorcycles
no,
are
and they're
fun.
here, and you can do that, and you're American, and
It's like being like, this guy did a bunch of heroin and died. You're like, yeah, it's kind of
yeah, I mean, he kind of
like
signed
if
up
he
for
didn't die, it would have been really fun and awesome. But now he's just dead.
it. Did I mean? And it's like, I'm not saying that people who drive or ride motorcycles are fucking stupid. It's just like you gotta at
Yeah.
least kind of know what you're signing
Well, it's
up
like
for.
saying, yeah, a plane crashed. Of course it did. That's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
it's
That's a
inevitably going
crazy
to happen.
thing. Every time I fly, and I usually like have some sort of edible going. Like as soon we start taking off, and you're like, finally, you feel that relief, and then like you start going higher and higher, and you look down, and shit just gets really small, really quick. You're like, all right, we're up, we're up.
Okay,
Relax.
Okay,
Just get over the trees. That's really all you got to do. What the fuck? This is excessive, dude.
Yeah.
Because at least, like, if you fall out of the trees, it's not that far to fall. It's like, all right, well, now we're just up here. And we trust you. I haven't even seen you. I just heard your voice. Go,
play sticker sheets.
I was in, like, I remember being a kid and being at, like, the wave pool at, like, Darien Lake or something. Remember the big wave
Yeah,
pool?
yeah,
That
yeah,
shit
yeah.
was fun. But I remember it was crowded as fuck. And I have a vague memory of, like, looking over and seeing a kid, like, face down, like hands out, face down in the water. But he wasn't like his legs weren't floating. He was like bent over. So I'm like, but he was just like floating in it. So I don't know if he was just like, it was fun. It was to let himself go,
Yeah.
or he was like looking in the water. But I just kind of was like, okay, like just kind of just pretended I didn't see it and spend the rest of the day at Six Flags with my family and friends, like thinking I just saw a kid die, and I just didn't want to say
Didn't say
anything
anything, yeah.
because I don't want to be bothered. I just want to be left alone. Like I said, I'm not scared of
Natural selection.
I'm
okay?
not
That's just
scared
what
of car
happens.
accidents. I'm scared of the forms and the bullshit that comes after. Like
That's all the official shit. I just
kill me.
I'm not good at it.
Because it's the whole day now. It's the whole fucking day.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I just
it is
don't. You know
very
what?
annoying.
I might have seen
to
a dead
help
kid.
somebody.
I might not have, because they're gonna ask me questions. They're gonna make me go sit in an office or something. I can't do it. This
No.
kid shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no, pretty
the
much-
wave pool takes people out. Of course, same thing with motorcycles. Someone died in the wave pool. Of course they did.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, someone fell out. That's why roller coasters are stupid, because like somebody falls off or
What
they
do you
get.
mean? And they're like, oh, these tragic
Oh,
deaths.
so
Not
explain to
I
me-
mean, not really. Like, it's. I mean, it was gonna happen. Like, that's. I'm sorry.
So you get to heaven and God's like, explain to me one more time what you did. I had you all nice and safe on the ground, and you guys started flipping each other around and fucking doing crazy shit.
Right.
What the fuck?
Trapeze artist dies tragically. You know what I mean?
Life
It's
is the
like,
greatest
no.
gift I could give. It's the greatest gift in the universe, and you just kind
And
of
all you had to do really was live.
Yeah.
That's it. Just not risk it. Just do it. Just live.
I was thinking the same thing about. I think it's in Chicago in the 360 tower in the fucking John Hancock building, the same building Chris Farley died in.
Oh, okay.
There's like you lean on the glass and it like kind of angles out of the building.
Oh, yeah, the thing in Ferris Bueller.
Oh, did they do it in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking at that, and I'm just like, if that just goes and falls out, you're immediately just like, fuck.
Yep.
And then once again, you get to heaven, and you're like, what'd you do?
Well, see, the thing.
See, I wanted the thing, and they take a picture, and it's really fun, and I wanted to put it on Facebook, and he's like, that was so unnecessary. What an unnecessary, dumb thing to
Why?
do.
You know how many people are fighting to get in here? You know when people ask me daily if they can come here, and then now here we are having this conversation. Because
What
you
the fuck are you
leaned
doing?
over a fucking skyscraper.
Like, you dumb bitch.
You asshole.
Yeah.
One time when I was a kid in Chicago, I was on we were at the hotel, and there was a rooftop pool, and I had this little Ninja Turtle like bath toy where you'd wind it up and he would like swim and shit.
Yeah.
It was like Leonardo or something. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. Anyway, so I was bored because the adults were talking and nobody talks to a kid, and I was just like, whatever. So I threw the fucking toy off of this fucking giant skyscraper of a building. Never heard anything about it, but I definitely could have hurt somebody or killed them very easily.
Absolutely killed them.
Very easily. And I still think about that sometimes. Like I do. I'm like, I wonder whatever happened to that. Because it was a toy. It wasn't like, you know when they say like a penny could split somebody in half type of thing?
This is like a big.
No,
yeah.
this was like, bulky
You're gonna
fucking.
see a guy one day who like you're like sitting at the counter at like a diner, and a guy sits next to you. He's got a Chicago Cubs hat on, and he takes the hat off, and there's like a perfect indent of a
turtle shell.
Ninja Turtle in his skull of a turtle shell, and you're just like. And it's sort of a Saigon whore who bit my nose off situation.
Yeah, exactly. But we're gonna like fall in love and run away together, maybe. Dude, yeah, I it's the fucking fucked up shit, man. Watch your kids. They might drown underneath the jet ski. They might throw objects off of a skyscraper into the city.
That's fucking
who
crazy.
knows, dude. Yeah, I just, you do things sometimes without thinking about it.
Dude, that's all you want to do. Like, I've been in hotels where you have a balcony that's really high, and you're like, all I want to do is throw shit.
Yeah.
That's why when you're like a rock star and you can feel like you get away with anything, it's the first thing you do.
Destroy a hotel room.
We were talking to a dude on Captain's Jug of Thoughts who like works for like demolition company. He does like underwater demolitions. Like when when that boat in Italy, the cruise ship tipped over, he was there for that.
Oh, no shit.
His company, it wasn't him, but his company and like his people did the Tappan Zee Bridge. They blew it the fuck up like last month or something, a couple months ago maybe. And I was like, dude, how does that feel?
It's gotta be
because you just are like, how fucking amazing must that feel to just like I mean, they line it all up. It takes weeks and weeks the process, but just to fucking
finally hit that.
we did that. I remember at the ice bar where everything was ice, made out of ice, and the glasses were made out of ice. They were just like ice molds of glasses. And when you were done, you got to smash them into a bucket.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it felt fucking great.
I bet.
So
there's a thing. Jimmy and Lindsay, they went to like this thing. I think it was in Buffalo. There was like you set it like you can pay for however much damage you want to cause or whatever, and it's like you're in a room with a bunch of glass and breakable shit and with a bat,
and like
and you get to take out all your fucking frustrations.
Might not be a bad idea.
I think it's a really great idea.
I think the show would suffer.
That's true.
It should be
actually,
chill. Yeah,
artistic integrity must be up there.
Yeah, I want to smash things. I want to smash like the fucking scene in Office Space is like a legendary scene because everybody
That's
like
true.
you know
that
how many
song
times
helps, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. You know how many times I wanted to throw this fucking laptop out the fucking window? Like shit, it glitches up and makes you so frustrated. You're just like, Argh!
I actually had an Office Space moment where remember he's listening to rap in the car and then turns it down when he sees a black guy. Yeah. I was actually listening to that song
this
still
show
by
in your car.
Yeah, exactly. Every time. But like I was listening to the song "Still" by Ghetto Boys, which is that fucking song where they smash the shit up. And like I was in L.A. and that song was just I forgot about it and I watched that movie. I was like, dude, this song fucking it's heavy. It fucking rips,
great,
dude.
Yeah.
And I was at a stoplight and there was definitely I was the only white guy and I was like, okay. just gonna turn this off. I think I skipped the song. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't lock the doors. I just turned it off.
it's
Like I
just
never heard it or listened to it. I probably put on like The Dead. You know what I mean?
Buying all the records, like they seriously have built, and good for the whole hip hop industry has built billion-dollar empires on teenage white kids
Yeah,
who
that's
like
true.
their shit.
When
Like,
I saw Kendrick Lamar at fucking at Darien Lake, and when I saw him in Detroit, fucking it was all college, the drunkest white kids I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, of
people
course.
like puking and being carried out before the show even started.
yeah,
I was like,
because they're kids, they're dumb
I know.
motherfuckers.
I was
But
like,
he
my
ain't-
God, I forgot what that's like. You know,
Yeah.
I've never been drunk and carried out of a show before, but
No. Remember, God, what was the fucking whole thing? We went to like a show in Buffalo, and your brother was working at that restaurant, and we went in there, and I think at one point we looked over and saw a girl in like a brown tank top. She was kind of hot, and she had no shoes on, and she was like in the bar room, like kind of being weird. And then we were at the show, like before it started, like still daylight, and we see the guys in the yellow shit coming
Yeah.
through, and you're like, oh fuck, I hate that.
the security guys. Yeah.
And they're carrying that girl.
What
That was pretty funny.
happened? You guys saw a naked guy being carried out of a festival, right? Didn't you guys see a dude?
Dude, of course.
No, but like by all fours. I remember. Like,
yeah.
right? What
wow.
happened there?
I don't know, dude. We just saw like, I think it was like such a great show. I don't know if it was. I want to say it might have been Rothbury. It was either Disco Biscuits or
I think it
Soundtribe
was
Night.
Rothbury.
And it was fucking like just a great show. And then I ended up finding Tim again, I think. And I was like, ah! Like when you see your tripping balls and you see your friend that you haven't seen in 4 hours, you feel like you
Yeah, right.
you were all just born again. It's the most amazing thing. And like right around then, like as the lights came up, we look over and we see 2 security guards, each one has an arm and a leg. So they got this guy and they're just opening him like a fucking Rorschach painting. They're just spreading him open and he's like, ah! And his dick and balls are just bouncing around and we're just all fucked up, dude. It was so fun. Yeah, he was screaming like, Nazis! You fucking Nazis!
Sorry, you can't be completely
can't-
naked
yeah.
in a public fucking
Sir,
place.
you're out of your mind. You're gonna fucking get yourself or somebody else killed. And he was like freaking out. And I forgot about that till you said that. Yeah, you see that shit all the time. You saw a guy getting a blowjob at Phil Lash. That was fun.
Well, somebody said,
There's one story that I have to wrap my head around before I can tell it on either one of these shows.
okay.
It's so weird. It's
right.
so weird. Dude, I do miss that shit. Because I
Sort
want to
of.
go to like a festival and just get dirty into it again and just go. I
Yeah.
think it's good because it's like a weird. You ever have like a really vivid, crazy, weird dream and you sleep so heavily and you wake up and you feel like kind of reborn?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you need that. You need to go just get the fuck out of your own shit and just go fucking nuts for a little bit and then come back. It kind of helps you realign.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah.
at those places, there's a ton of healthy people who just want to, go get a little break from reality. And then there's the people who live in that break from reality and they're fucking nuts,
Yeah.
which is part of the fun.
The grilled cheese people.
Yeah, dude, grilled cheese donut. Fuck yeah.
Grilled cheese donut.
Grilled cheese donut.
No shit.
Oof.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, really good.
That's violently American.
Yeah.
That's
really
violently
good.
American. That's pretty great.
Yeah, really.
God damn it. And I'm on this like paleo bullshit because I gained at least at a great thing, the COVID-19, like the freshman 15 or whatever. She gained it right. I think it was great. Funny. Anyway, I've been doing nothing really. You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck it. No rules apply.
She's been making dough. She got her bread book out. So it's all been pizza doughs and pies. She's making pies. And they're fucking awesome. And occasionally one of our cats will get a mouse out of the garage or something and like kind of chew it up. And you'll find like very rarely, but we did like the outside kitty fucking had like a mouse with like its head bitten off.
Oh,
like,
shit.
but they're doing it like they're like, hey, look at how awesome this is. I gave this to you. It's like when a kid gives you a shitty card. You're like, you sweet little thing. You think you're doing something nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Thank you. But Lee made a cherry pie last night, and then we ate and watched a movie, and then we went to bed, and then I was in bed, and she was coming back. She's like, there's something in the hallway. It's like a liver, or it's something spleen or something. And I got up, got out of bed, came in with the light on, and it was a fucking cherry from the pie that fell out. But it looked like a mouse's bladder, like
destroyed,
ripped out of its body. And I'm like, oh, thank God.
Do you remember?
I shouldn't have said anything and done like a Caddyshack, just picked it up and ate it. That would have been
Smelled it
fucking
and
great. Yeah.
Still good. Do you remember at my old place in Niagara Falls, where I lived with Lindsay and Tim, and They had that shit. She took over her sister's shitty fucking dog named Dante.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. Anyway,
Dante was all right. He
was
hated
neurotic.
you.
He
You
did.
and him hated each other.
and I love animals and I love dogs, and
But
they love me
I
too.
would say
so when I
Dante-
find one that I don't like and it doesn't like me, then I get really
it's
upset.
because you're too similar. It's almost like we have our nice balanced group of friends, and then like you have a dog that's kind of like Steve, like kind of twitchy and angry, and, and then like you guys cancel each other out. You hate each other.
That's true.
It happens with Dante. Kind of happens with Boomer. It's like two of the
that's
same
tr-
energy.
that's very
And
true.
it's like all
We
right,
just
there's
get-
only enough room for one of us.
Exactly.
Angry little yelling.
So Dante was me reincarnated through a dog, or vice versa.
Dante was kind of gayer though.
Yeah, he was much gayer. Anyway, he brought a present back. Do you remember what he found?
No.
From the alleyway, he like got out and he brought this fucking. It was like this animal carcass spine column rib cage with like this metal bolt like shoved through the
God,
ribs and shit.
yeah.
Remember, it was like this thing. It was like however this animal died, it was horrible.
Probably get cat and somebody fucking beat
Something
fucked with it. Yeah.
like speared it with fucking I don't know whatever the fuck. And
the
then,
Cusimano's Binky. You think that was AJ?
Yes. And it was fucking disturbing. It was totally disturbing. And we were just like, well, what do you got, bud? And we were like, oh my God. It was horrific, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily it didn't have like a head or anything like that, but it was a total rib cage, spinal column with a giant bolt like stabbed through it.
Yeah.
Like it was, oh my God.
The horror. The
Yeah.
horror.
You can't imagine because we lived in a horrible spot in the falls.
Yeah. Those are great fucking times.
They were good
if
times.
anybody listens to the Captain's Jug of Thoughts, I told a story a couple weeks ago of a one-handed boxing match and falling through the window.
That was pretty great. That was at my
that
living
house.
room. That was at my dining room. Yeah. I remember one time when we were making. I thought about this the other day. It's funny that we brought this up because when we were cooking, when we bought like the big fryer and we got a bunch of chicken wings and we were outside cooking them in the backyard, and I was like, actually, this is kind of dangerous. Like, we can't just openly fry chicken out in the ghetto, and we're the only white kids. It's like the ghetto Buglight,
dude.
Like, they're all gonna come in, dude.
We heard people like, yo, shit smell good.
Yeah, we're like
we heard people
hooting and hollering.
holler. Yeah. And we're
terrible.
like,
and that was like my first time out of my parents' house too, and it was in like
It would have
was
been
like
the
Lindsay's grandfather's house, so we just got this
blame
house for
our
super
fucking
cheap.
upbringing for this shit. All right, and first of all, anybody who's like, this shows just two white guys being racist. Steve's Italian. He's not
I'm part
white.
black. I'm part black.
The Moors.
Yeah, exactly.
much-
Just watch True Romance if you have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah. What did fuck? Never,
That was
I
like the
can't
best scene in that
Yeah.
fucking movie.
But I'm saying, so that he's my one of my best friends is Italian, so I'm allowed to.
Yeah, it's a one-off.
to say ghetto
The
bug
one-off,
light. It worked though. It would be
It
racist
did.
if it didn't work. We fried the chicken and motherfuckers were like, yo,
Hey, they were coming out of the fucking woodwork, dude. It was
Yeah.
insane,
It
I was
worked.
like, but we can't fry that shit inside. It was like a big barrel.
Yeah, it was a turkey fryer.
Yeah, that's what it was.
a turkey
yeah.
fryer
But we were
that
like
we would do
making
chicken
wings and
wings
shit.
in. Yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of dangerous. This is a bad idea.
Yeah. Well,
Ugh, man, crazy fucking times.
life in the ghetto.
Yep, life in the ghetto. Made me
Well,
the man I
now-
am today.
Yeah, you run the ghetto now.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. The dough man, the pizza man.
Yo, I heard stories about this guy. I heard he fried a whole chicken and nobody fucked with him because they knew better.
They did. They did. It all started then.
All right, Thurman and Lala,
Yeah.
tell your friends.
Please.
Thanks for listening.
Comment negatively. Just give us something.
Go make like a
Negative shout outs to anything.
anonymous
whatever you want us to do.
iTunes account and leave shit, I guess.
Yeah,
know what I
whatever
mean?
you want to do. We won't call you out.
Whatever,
Maybe we
just
will.
do something. Let us know you're out there.
Please.
We know you're there. There's numbers. We just don't see faces with the numbers.
I'm so alone.
Seems very low. It seems getting weird, as you can tell. Remember when he started this one? Is like, all right, I don't want to chill. The last one was a little, and then talking about all this sorts
I
of
just
shit.
can't not. So this is it. This is it. This is
Well,
me.
someone has to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
someone has to get down and dirty into it. Like someone had to be the first guy to like cut open a body and figure out how to like
Right.
fix it
Or milk
You
a
know what
cow.
I mean? Yeah, someone
That
had to
guy's
be-
fucked up.
Yeah,
the milk a cow guy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Or the blow a cow guy.
Yeah. He's like, you don't even need to put it in a fucking in a bucket, dude.
Yeah,
You
what's
know
the
what I
bucket for?
mean? Yeah. We can get 4 of you. Yo, you 3 come with me. we
Yeah.
can all get in
all
on
of it.
this.
Yeah, you spray it all over your face.
It's really hard to get out of your hair.
Only a swallow if master allows you. See, that's just, we need some sort of connection. Look at where it's going. See, it's bad.
Yeah.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
This is the Thurman and Lala podcast.